It is 10:01. Good morning from the Circus Sports Studios, 104.5 The Zone. John Harbaugh will be the head coach of the New York Giants, reportedly finalizing a 5-year deal with the Giants. It will be the first head coach opening to be filled in this coaching carousel. On Wednesday, the Titans interviewed Arthur Smith and Mike McDaniel for the head coaching position. The Titans were planning on meeting John Harbaugh in Baltimore, but did not get the chance as the Giants did not let him leave New York. Reportedly a 5-year, $100 million deal. College hoops, Vanderbilt dropped its first loss of the season at Texas, 80-64. The Commodores are 16-1 and will have tied the best start in program history, coming up just short of setting a new program record for wins to start a season. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Well, I guess that was fun while it lasted. Good morning. Hope you're off to a great start on this Thursday. We are happy to have your participation for the next 3 hours. Robert, Lucas, me, Nate Washington later in the show. We'll ask him about his former head coach, Mike Tomlin, what he thinks about the Titans failing to land John Harbaugh, who had a meeting scheduled, was getting ready to receive the three most important people associated with the Tennessee Titans organization, Amy Adams-Strunk, Chad Brinker, and Mike Borgonzi, at his home in Baltimore after an extensive visit with the Giants. And then at about, 11:15 Central Time last night, decided, you know what? I'm good. Just going to go ahead and take this Giants job. And the first domino of the coaching carousel officially falls. 615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch is the F&M Bank chat where you can interact, where I'm greeted by a comment that says, Harbaugh's washed up anyway. I want to go back and find that user's history of comments and see how much he was falling over himself. He or she, I don't know.
63, please. What is this, a retirement home? Never wanted them.
I didn't want you to begin with. You can't fire me, I quit. Same kind of vibe, yeah? So we can talk more about the Titans side of this later. It doesn't matter. They're not getting John Harbaugh. Now you move on, right? There's no point in spending an overwhelming amount of time dwelling on the past. But I do think that there is one thing that's worth pointing out here about why they couldn't even get in the room. And we can cross that bridge here a little later in the show. But the reporting on John Harbaugh is this, that he was the perceived front runner for the New York Giants job the whole way through, was the perceived front runner for basically any job that he wanted, and had narrowed it down to, at some point, reportedly, 3 teams in the Giants, the Falcons, and the Titans. However you would stack the other two. Doesn't matter now. He's the Giants head coach. Press conference expected next week. By the way, Titans can hire somebody whenever they want at this point in time. The Mike McDaniel in-person interview does clear the Rooney Rule qualifications, so they can move forward at any point that they choose. They're going to go through the rest of these interviews this weekend, sounds like, and for the rest of the week, that include guys like Mike McCarthy and Chris Shula, and there was another one. Halfley? Is Halfley this weekend? I need to double check.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, they already spoke to Jeff Halfley.
Okay. Well, we can go through the scheduled interviews later on. But either way, they have additional candidates that they are going to follow through on the interviews with. Now, all that to say, the Giants' visit was with the direct perspective of, we expedited our process. We did our in-person interviews with Rooney Rule candidates right out the gate. By the way, was it you that sent the Antonio Pierce thing?
Yeah, that just feels cold, to use Antonio Pierce to check off your Rooney Rule box. Giants legend, Super Bowl champion as a player who has not coached in the NFL for 2 years.
Why don't you ask Jason Fitz what he thinks about Antonio Pierce and whether they didn't do him a favor by even including him with all due respect. I'm sure Antonio Pierce is a decent human being, but as a head coach, it sounds like things very much changed when he got the job full-time after being an interim for the Raiders.
Sure. I'm not saying Antonio Pierce, is the... I'm not saying he deserves a shot. Like, he's not a good head coach. That much was clear, but that felt, I don't know, gratuitous. But anyway.
So, they don't get Harbaugh. What, Robert?
Well, he did have history there.
Yeah, as a player, for sure.
Oh, maybe it was just a courtesy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they did him a courtesy by even including him.
All right.
He's a nice guy.
He was a disaster.
If he felt good about it, then who am I to knock it?
Well,
what has he been doing anyway?
Not coaching.
Yeah, he's chilling. He's taking Mark Davis's money and doing whatever he chooses.
Yeah, enjoy the free flight, buddy.
Spend a weekend in New York. See the sights. Go ice skate in front of 30 Rock.
Oh, he was doing some stuff with CBS Sports, like streaming stuff.
What?
Apparently, he was working on the streaming Sunday pregame show, the NFL Today Plus.
Oh, very popular. Yes.
Is that what Rand's on too? Because all these Rand Carthon clips keep coming out, and I have no idea where they're being actually where the shows actually are. Anyway,
Rand's good at that.
Facetious. I had no idea. No idea about CBS primetime morning show covering the whatever it was called.
The NFL pregame show.
Oh, okay.
That's their NFL pregame show streaming.
Yes, very aware.
Anyway, so 18 years in Baltimore. He's immediately the most coveted head coach candidate. The Giants are going to, trip and fall over themselves to give him their job. Now, the domino effect is, of course, well, what does that mean for Joe Schoen? Because he's getting his $20 million a year that was speculated on. He's got a 5-year, $100 million contract, John Harbaugh, with the New York Giants. So check. He is also speculated to want roster control or a greater degree, maybe not outright, but a greater degree of roster control that he had in Baltimore, which would be a different version of John Harbaugh than we've ever seen.
Joe Schoen still has a job as of right now, by the way.
Sure. We'll see how much further past the press conference we make it with that. Maybe it works. I don't know. Maybe he's just like, John, I'll do whatever you want. They'll fire me. Please let me stay. I'm much nicer than Trent Baalke.
A la Elliott Wolf.
Yeah, that
in New England.
Elliott Wolf. I saw somebody talking about how well Vrabel and Elliott Wolf are getting along.
Oh, I'm sure they work very well together, yes. I'm sure it's a very collaborative 50-50 two-way road.
Like it was some NFL insider praising the dynamic of Wolf and Vrabel. I'm like, oh, you have no idea how that's working, do you?
Truly a team effort up there.
I bet Mike has him stuffed in some locker, and they're just they're forging Elliott Wolf's signature with Ryan Cowden, all over the roster decisions and all these different things. Elliott Wolf, God, Elliott Wolf is honestly what I thought Mike Borgonzi might be here, or what the next Titans GM might be here, given the whole Chad Brinker, Brian Callahan, Amy Adams Strunk dynamic. Anyway, worked out for the Titans. All that to say, New York ends up being the first team that gets their deal done, even if they're not the best job. So, does John Harbaugh make an immediate difference for the New York Giants organization? Because this is, if it does anything immediately, it gives them greater credibility than they've had on a sideline since Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, what was the most lauded hire by the Giants between Coughlin and now? Was it Daboll? I think people were excited about Daboll, and there was some proof of concept early. They go to the playoffs.
He turned Daniel Jones, or he made Daniel Jones at least for a year into the carriage before he turned back into the pumpkin.
Yeah, but this is obviously the slam dunk that they could have made.
Now, is it in fact as big a slam dunk as we think it is? Because my immediate, assuming that the Titans were going to actually get this, because they did everything that they could. And I don't fault them for doing everything that they could to get this done, because this would be a huge coup for them if they were able to pull this off. It would give them the kind of credibility, or at least restore some of the credibility that they lost when they fired Mike Vrabel.
I don't think we would have said the moment you saw John Harbaugh was not going to be the coach of the Ravens. I think most of us would have been surprised to see the Titans as one of 3 teams that he was reportedly planning on sitting down with in person.
Absolutely. And so to their credit, I think they did everything within their power to try and get that done, and I don't fault them for that at all. That's what they should have done. John Harbaugh immediately gives them the most credibility that they've had in 4 years. So, what he does give them at the New York Giants, he gives them credibility instantly as far as what this means for New York. What does it actually change about the competitiveness of the NFC East? Before we talk about why the Titans couldn't even get in the room with him, and we'll do that later in the show, like, as Nick Sirianni fires his offensive coordinator because their offensive line can't play as well anymore, or goes from a top 3 unit to a bottom 3 unit overnight, as the Washington Commanders. How do we feel about the Commanders right now? Because I feel like Jane Daniels is in such dangerous territory of being kind of that shooting star proposition where it goes for a season, we think it's going to turn into something more, and then all of a sudden it's RG3.
I mean, I wouldn't blame Commanders fans for, having some, what would you call that, BCS, but they weren't the Commanders when it was RG3. BWS?
BFBS?
I don't know. But, yeah, I wouldn't blame Commanders fans for worrying about that exact scenario, but they are in a weird place. The Eagles are in kind of an odd place as everybody waits to see what Nick Sirianni is going to do at offensive coordinator, what that looks like next year.
But still winning the division, right?
Yeah. And then there's the Cowboys.
They didn't need to be that good to just, beat out the rest of them, because the rest of them, they got a career year from Dak Prescott, and it was good for what, 6 wins, 7 wins? How many did they end with, the Cowboys? I think.
6 or 7, I mean, right outside of the playoffs. But I imagine Eagles will still be the favorite in the division next year to win it for a 3rd year in a row. But this makes the NFC East much, much more interesting. Jackson Dart reportedly was a part of this meeting with John Harbaugh and the Giants and the Mara family. Reports are that when he entered the meeting room, he bashed through the door head first, a la Kool-Aid Man.
Yes.
And it did not deter John Harbaugh from saying, nope, that's my quarterback.
Well, again, a Harbaugh 62. He only needs him for so long. That's a bit grim.
63.
63.
Be 64 next year.
Oh, that's right. This isn't a retirement home, famously.
Yeah, come on. What are we doing?
It's disappointing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's disappointing because if Mike Borgonzi would have got this done, it would have been awesome for everybody involved. It would have been a huge deal for the Tennessee Titans, even if it doesn't make an appreciable difference immediately for them, because he's not a coach who you look at least in terms of the head coaching role, that is going to immediately elevate the players in terms of what he provides schematically, right? He's not, I'm sure he knows offense and defense well enough after 18 years as a head coach and several years before that as an assistant coach. But his background is primarily special teams, and his superpower is, as we've talked about, CEO type, adult in the room, stabilizing force, which this place also needed. Turns out New York does too. Now, how that makes a difference for, can he get Jackson Dart to rein it in? Todd Monken is going to be the offensive coordinator, reportedly, which I also would have liked. And I saw that was also a weird ripple from some level of Titans fans who were like, Todd Monken's a terrible offensive coordinator. I didn't want him anyway.
Didn't want him.
I can't imagine what Titans fans would have been saying had they landed John Harbaugh and Todd Monken as their offensive coordinator. Like, come on, it's okay to be realistic about this circumstance. And we can get to the Titans portion of this in just a little while. But I'm genuinely curious to know what immediate impact John Harbaugh is able to have on the New York Giants, because they got plenty of questions to answer, even if they are, from a roster standpoint, way closer to competitive, meaningfully competitive, than a place like Tennessee. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. You can participate at any point. If you have thoughts on, well, I'll simply ask you, why do you think, and again, you'll just be speculating, unless you're going to cite sources on here, which we've had callers do before, but why do you think the Tennessee Titans could not even get in the room with John Harbaugh? 615-737-1045. I know Zach Lyons has been saying something to the effect of it was never real. I, to my core, believe that is not true, and Zach is allowed to have whatever opinion that he wants. But their interest in John Harbaugh was very real. They had the offer ready to go. How much leverage the Titans and Falcons provided him in his Giants pursuit, that is a subject that can be debated. But I don't think that he would even entertain the offer of having them fly up there if he was not genuinely interested in seeing what they had to say. And you can say that he wasn't interested even though he was watching tape of Cam Ward and Jackson Dart as he prepared for both of these meetings. I think if he takes the time to go to his way to study the young quarterbacks, both of them, I think that at least indicates some level of real interest. Not that it matters. Moral victories. All right, coming up next, we are going to play you some Greg Cosell analysis on the state of the NFL coaching cycle right now and some playoff previews as we work our way through the divisional round. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you get right if you've experienced any level of performance issues recently. Their urology foundation means freedom to practice medicine the right way, not confined by one-size-fits-all pills. Did you know there's treatments that can help you maintain what you've got? Just like going to the gym to maintain muscle, there's ways to keep ED at bay without a pill. If you're starting to notice things get shaky, don't wait. Things can get worse if they're ignored or if you procrastinate in seeking out that kind of help. Online folks promise convenience and discretion, but their treatments are generic and some even unsafe. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is the state's first men's health-focused urology practice. Multiple urologists and providers focus solely on male performance. It's time to show up for yourself and your life like never before. Turn your tomorrows into today. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or book online in under 30 seconds at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. The Tennessee Men's Clinic for every man in every season of life. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. I saw a comment, Lucas, in the F&M Bank chat, and we'll take some of your phone calls before we play you some Greg Cosell commentary from Kay Oldham on YouTube, saying that now that John Harbaugh is the coach of the Giants, they are an instant playoff team. How many things on the Giants roster are better than what the Titans have?
Definitively, definitely a number one receiver, for one.
He's coming off a consequential knee injury.
ACL,
but
happened early in the year.
He should be fine. Also, the MetLife thing and how often the injuries happen at MetLife Stadium.
Is it next to a
power plant?
Power plant, like the way San Francisco is?
Well, I don't know. In East Rutherford, New Jersey, probably.
Something to that.
All kind of radioactive material out there in the Meadowlands. But Malik Neighbors for sure. Are we comfortable saying push on Dart and Cam?
We don't know enough definitively about, either one.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So we'll say wash.
Yeah.
We'll say wash.
I think Titans fans would lean Cam, and there are a lot of reasons to lean Cam over Dart. And he was always the more, the higher upside prospect in the draft. But, I think you have to say push after a rookie year.
I think it's fair.
Where it's hard to learn about
Andrew
guys.
Thomas is one of the best left tackles in football.
Edge group.
Should be better than it was last year.
Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence had a down year. Jeff was the best defensive tackle in football.
Jeff was better than Dexter.
And Dexter Lawrence, I think he also missed a little bit of time with injury this season, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, I would argue that 1 through 3, the Giants wide receivers are better than anybody on the current Titans roster.
Yeah, Titans don't have anything close to a true number one receiver right
Darius Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson are both better options at wide receiver in their current state than the young ascending.
Yeah, because we're talking about 2 fourth-round rookies.
For sure. But right now, the Giants 1 through 3 are better than any of the Titans' ones.
What about running back?
I like Tony Pollard. I think he does a really good job. I think that Tony's biggest crime was playing behind that offensive line for the first half of the year.
Scadaboo's just fun. Like, people just gravitate towards Cam Scadaboo.
It's more an energy thing than it is like an actual production
He's a good player.
Right? Well, he blocked the hell out of people.
But yes, I think it's a vibe. It is also very much a vibes thing with Cam Scadaboo.
Yeah, I don't think
he's got a little bit of the same issue that Dart does.
Sure.
For better or for worse.
I'm going to say Scadaboo is as much vibes as he is talent at this point in time. But, that matters. So, wide receivers 1 through 3. Quarterback push, left tackle Giants, for sure. The rest of their offensive line is kind of suspect.
Titans have a better tight end in Gunnar Helm.
Who is the Giants' tight end?
Theo Johnson, former Penn State guy. They have a bunch of dudes who are just dudes. Like Daniel Bellinger. They drafted Thomas Fedone, who was an often injured tight end in college. Nothing that would really wow you in that group. Theo Johnson's a great athlete, but he did have a problem with the dropsies.
So
where did he go to college?
Penn State.
You just said
literally, you just said it. I heard you say it too.
Did you?
I remember you saying it.
You want me to do it again? Daniel Bellinger, good blocker. Thomas Fedone.
If we spent our time repeating the things that Lucas did not hear us say or ignored the fact that we said, we would spend half the show doing that same show.
That streak goes 2 ways, pal.
Yesterday it did. I did not have a good day listening yesterday. Anyway, 615-737-1045. I just don't think that they're an instant playoff contender just by nature of John Harbaugh being there, which is what at least one commenter is alleging in the chat. All right, to the phones, Titanomics in Murfreesboro.
Good morning, gentlemen. I say I'm glad we didn't get John, partially because he would have brought in Monken, and we all see how that played out with Derrick Henry being taken out in the second half. Maybe that had something to do with Harbaugh, but I wouldn't wanted Monken. I much would have had McDaniel or somebody like that, but that wasn't going to be the case. And also, imagine Harbaugh going from the Ravens to the Titans. You can't step down. You can only elevate. So I think that was one of the biggest reasons why he chose them over us.
I'm sorry, didn't you want him? Oh, he hung up.
Wait, I'm confused.
He didn't want John Harbaugh, which is not true because I feel like I've seen that handle in the comment section talking about
But his
John Harbaugh.
logic at the end of the call, I'm confused on.
Oh, he's talking about the idea of it being a step down to go from the Ravens to the Titans as an organization. Like if you are going to continue to have a career at 63 years old, soon to be 64, his allegation is that the Titans are a lesser job than the Ravens, and that's true. But
well, yeah, the Titans were 3-14 last year. So were the Giants, right? Were they 3-14 when it was all said and done?
I want to say the Giants had one more win. I think the Giants.
They're picking 5. Titans are 4.
4-13, maybe the Giants. Fact check that for me, Robert. Your response.
4-13.
Your response to the allegations that Todd Monken did not do a good job in Baltimore.
He's like the best offensive coordinator John's ever had. Like, I would hear an argument for Greg Roman, but as far as innovation goes, my biggest gripe with Monken were the timing of his calls and not knowing when to stick with things, when to pivot. But the calls were good. I thought the scheme was fine. He put Lamar in position to look like an elevated passer last year when I thought that was Lamar's best season. He should have won the MVP.
Oh, by a mile.
Should have, yeah.
And, I don't have a lot of hate towards Monken. I feel like the disparity between, Harbaugh and Lamar aren't seeing eye to eye, and then the information about Monken came out. They're not seeing eye to eye. Lamar and Monken had a good relationship. It was about when Monken called the plays, where on the field he called it. Lamar wanted more input, and Monken he's up in the booth. He's not on the sideline. They don't get to talk face-to-face. I feel like there was just a roadblock in between their conversations about where and when to do certain things.
Also, the Derrick Henry of it all was hyper-focused on, 2 or 3 games. Derrick was 40 yards away from leading the league in rushing again.
And
what are you talking about?
They're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Like, I remember the first Steelers game, they were kind of shutting Derrick down, and it's like, they can't. Why do they keep running on first down? Why do they? But if they stop running, it's like, they're not running Derrick enough. I just a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
Yeah, it's a bad call.
He tied a career high in rushing touchdowns, Derrick. He's 16. He's done that 3 times.
It's incredible.
It's an objectively bad call. Just very misinformed. And also using the results after the fact to say, no, I didn't want John Harbaugh anyway. I feel like we're going to get a lot of that today.
I mean, do we really want a coach that's got what is John Harbaugh? What's his bedtime? 8?
What's your bedtime?
Please. Well, that's different.
I loved everyone being like, he's already so old. He's only going to be your coach for 7 years. 7 years isn't a very long time to be
a year longer than Vrabel got.
He's going to be 70 years old.
Can we get a coach that wasn't born before the moon landing, please?
I don't want a boomer coach.
That's going to be the worst part of this is, I didn't want him anyway.
Matt Nagy, 47, a good, crisp, young age. Spry.
Go ahead, you be the one to sell him Matt Nagy. Go ahead. The Nagy thing was a tough sell before John Harbaugh got fired, much less now. Oh. So, speaking of the Giants landing John Harbaugh and the coaching carousel as it relates to the Tennessee Titans, Greg Cosell and I taped the latest edition of The Install today where we talked about the coaching carousel, what actually goes into the hiring and firing of a coach as far as the organizational decisions and the tactical things that factor in from Greg's standpoint, as well as a little bit of playoff preview. Welcome into The Install with Greg Cosell of NFL Films. Greg, every time we sit down to take another one of these shows, I'm scared of. I can take another call.
I was thinking about doing a Cosell impression.
Oh, I would love to hear that.
Nah,
go ahead.
I don't have it.
Go ahead.
I don't have it. I don't even.
What do you mean?
I don't even know what it would sound like.
Just your best effort. Buy Robert some time. Go ahead to help your friend.
Well, then it would require me to pretend like I'm smart about football, which I'm not.
Yes, that really would be the funnier part of the.
It's not even a cadence thing.
The Cosell impression. I want to hear you try to do football analysis first.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
So, we will circle back to the Cosell part of the conversation at Robert's earliest convenience. And in the meantime, did you just say that to me? Oh,
Stop talking and pitch it.
Oh, stop talking and pitch it. Okay, Greg Cosell and analysis now. As we tape this on a Thursday morning, is that John Harbaugh will fill the first chair It's okay.
See, this is why I think only we should have nice things, because when other people get to come in here and mash buttons and put their sticky fingers all over everything, stuff doesn't work the same way as it did last week.
It's not nice to say about Jackson.
Well, Jackson isn't even in this room anymore, ever.
What?
He works at TN now.
No, there's too much food shrapnel all over the place for Jackson to not work here anymore.
I don't know. I'm going to play the audio here in a second. I'm about to flip.
It's all right. Just 10 deep breaths. You let me know when the audio's ready, and I will talk about the idea that now you have to pivot, and we will talk more about the pivots that they can potentially make here in just a second. But what if the pivot ends up being Matt Nagy? Like, we go through 19 candidates that are not even named John Harbaugh. You still land on the Matt Nagy anyway. What does that do for Titans fans?
I mean, no, there is no name that, matches up with the mystique that is the white whale of John Harbaugh.
Yeah, you're not getting Moby Dick.
Yeah, so
maybe settle for Shamu. I don't know. Who's Shamu? McCarthy? Oh, that feels mean.
They speak in person with Mike McCarthy Saturday, as well as Jonathan Gannon, the fired Cardinals coach. They talk in person to Brian Daboll tomorrow. Don't believe anything is scheduled for today because John Harbaugh was supposed to be today. Tuesday was Jeff Hafley and Jesse Minter. They've already talked to both of those. Robert Saleh on Sunday.
Still no Kubiak interview.
Yet no request. Doesn't seem like that's going to be in the cards.
I wonder why. Now, I don't think Mike Borgonzi would answer that question at a press conference. Be like, hey, there was one guy, really one guy, who does not have head coaching experience and has been an offensive play caller, but you didn't interview him. Any reason? I doubt he would give us a reason, an expansive explanation on that. But either way, all right, so you do have the audio ready for people. All right, let's hear a little bit of Greg Cosell analysis on the coaching carousel, courtesy of this morning's install. Welcome into the install with Greg Cosell of NFL Films. Greg, every time we sit down to tape another one of these shows, I'm scared a job is going to come open or somebody's going to get hired, because I swear to God, within 10 minutes of us finishing last week, Mike McDaniel was let go by the Dolphins, and it just creates a whole different set of questions that I have for you, buddy.
Well, let's just hope that while we're talking, the Titans don't name a head coach.
Well, that would immediately put me into a bit of a DEFCON, maybe not 1 situation, maybe DEFCON 2.
There you go.
At this point in time. But yeah, I mean, it's head on a swivel season for certain. And the news of the morning, or I guess the news of last night as we tape this on a Thursday morning, is that John Harbaugh will fill the first chair. And he will become the next head coach of the New York Giants. But also, since we've spoken, Greg, Mike Tomlin has stepped down. He will not be coaching in 2026 at minimum.
Yep.
We'll see what his next steps look like. And I just wonder, now that there are still 8 jobs available, Pittsburgh a little later to the game than most, what you kind of make of the landscape of NFL head coaching right now.
Well, look, I'm certainly not equipped to discuss, what goes into a head coach per se, but I'm always fascinated by what I think is the balance. And I think this is what teams think about. And I've certainly had conversations over the years with people. The sort of the balance between the leader of men versus a guy being considered a great head coach because he's a great offensive or defensive designer, and I think that's the balance you look for, because as we know, many of the people each and every year that are up for head coaching jobs are up because they're viewed as really good offensive coordinators or really good defensive coordinators. But then you get into the leader of men thing, which I think we can say that someone like John Harbaugh is obviously very, very good at. And I'm not suggesting he doesn't know offensive or defensive football. Obviously cut his teeth in the league as a special teams coach. None of us know, unless you were in Baltimore and we're not, how involved he was in the offense or the defense. We don't know the answer to that. But he clearly knows how to run a team. I mean, that's evident, So, I think that's, to me, is the toughest question that any organization faces, including the Titans. Because right now, obviously, the number one concern, the number one thing that has to be dealt with when you hire a coach with the Titans is you've got to make Cam Ward an all-pro. Now, that doesn't mean you have to hire an offensive head coach, because then it comes down to who you hire as a coordinator, and who's a quarterback coach, those kinds of issues. But that's the number one deal, because as we've discussed many times, if whoever they hire, if 2 years from now or 3 years from now, Cam Ward turns out just to be a guy, then those people are going to get fired in 3 years. I mean, that's the bottom line. We know how the business works. And that's why so many teams that need quarterbacks. And, my initial sense and again, I've done last summer, I obviously looked at a lot of players. I'm just starting now to watch quarterbacks for this draft. But my sense is it's not a great quarterback class, and a lot of teams need quarterbacks. You talk about Pittsburgh, will that be seen as an attractive job? Because right now they really don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, a place like Pittsburgh right now is leaning a bit on the mystique of the franchise, as opposed to the actual tangible things that the next head coach will have to work with. And to your point about John Harbaugh, like, his superpower is CEO type, right? He's 18 years experience running a championship caliber organization. And Clint Kubiak may have that in his bag at some point in time, but we know that he's getting job interviews for different reasons beyond just that skill set. That's the unknown about guys like that who are doing this for the first time. Offense, defense, there's all manner of candidates. Hell, the Titans have talked to 19 people, not even named John Harbaugh, who they could get in the room with.
And look, my sense of Mike Borgonzi is that he probably, and we don't know who they're going to hire. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say who they hire is going to be great or bad. We don't know. But my sense is, in getting to know Mike Borgonzi a little bit and knowing where he's come from, that he probably has a good feel for it. Now, again, that doesn't mean we don't know what's going to happen. So I don't want people to hear me and think, oh, well, you said they're going to hire a great head coach because you like Mike Borgonzi. That's not my point. My point is, I think because he was with one organization, which was a very good organization with, I think, probably a pretty good division of labor and balance of power between the head coach and the GM, that he probably has a really good feel for how that's supposed to look and how that's supposed to work. Now, then we go from there, because he's not the only one involved, obviously. But, the good thing for the Titans is that only Harbaugh is off the market. It's not like, oh, my God, they lost these 4 guys. What are they going to do now? So we'll see. That, of course, the dominoes could start to fall at any time. You never know.
Sure. You can listen to the rest of the install. You can also watch it on YouTube as soon as you want, because Robert has already done us the courtesy of putting it on YouTube independently. The install with Greg Cosell each and every Thursday. There's a great divisional round preview in there. We talked a lot about the choking dog that is Justin Herbert and what the hell happened to him against the New England Patriots, and how, that feels like the Amy Adams Strunk Hate Bowl, right? Texans and Patriots. The first official Amy Adams Strunk Hate Bowl. The hated Houston Texans, the hated Mike Vrabel, all these different things. Sure, there will be no hate watching involved in that whatsoever. Coming up next, an interesting wrinkle in the college football / NFL draft landscape that directly impacts the Titans. We'll talk about it next. College football is on hiatus until Monday, where the national championship game will be played at Hard Rock Stadium. Miami, are they technically the home team? I mean, they are the home team, but are they technically the home team at Hard Rock Stadium against Indiana on Monday night? I'm not sure about that.
I don't believe so. I believe Indiana will be in their home jerseys and will be the home team at the coin toss and those things.
I think it is going to be so fascinating to see what that crowd looks like.
I think it's more Indiana.
Do you really?
I do, yeah.
I mean, there are 800,000 living Indiana alumni to 200,000 Miami.
Yeah. No, I think Indiana fans are going to show up in droves to this game.
The Music City Bowl has scarred Lucas. Where he was poo-pooing and denigrating and all of those words. Oh,
I tried to tell him Illinois fans show up.
Illinois doesn't.
He was like, I've never seen an Illinois fan before.
They don't have that in their bag. There's no way they're going to outnumber the Vols. Make some Illinois. They're bumping up in there.
I did leave with a newfound respect for the Illinois football fan base. They showed out. They were loud at the Music City Bowl.
I think that stretches to the entire conference. I think you are willing to give that conference a little more respect now.
I think Lucas is a perfect example of the way that people in the South think that they own football and the rest of the country only tangentially pays attention to football. People in Chicago and the state of Illinois love football. Have you seen the sheer insanity around the Chicago Bears?
I guess you're just the outlier then, because all you've done is pump your chest about how you never cared about college football until you got down here.
No, you don't understand. I have not cared about college football because I had a team in which literally there were shirts being sold on campus saying game time is nap time.
But you still claim to be a Notre Dame fan, and you've never once given a damn about a Notre Dame game in your life. Like, actually cared.
Well, actually cared. No, I think the last time I really did care was when they got stomped out by Alabama. Like, the whole Manti Te'o thing kind of removed some of the scales from your eyes about what it was to just be blind fandom. I feel like that affected a lot of Notre Dame fans.
That's when the SEC actually did have a monopoly on high-level talent.
Sure enough.
Across college football. No longer the case.
Now we have a situation in which the semifinalists, one of the competitors, one of the quarterbacks, Dante Moore, has announced that he is returning to Oregon, which is an interesting component of this because I think we talked about did we do the transfer portal madness thing Tuesday?
Did you call him a Heisman finalist?
Did I? I didn't mean to. I said semifinalist.
Oh, okay.
College football playoff semifinalist.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. We talked about this in the portal madness segment that we did earlier in the week, right? Raiola's going to Oregon.
Yes.
So we thought, I think it's a natural assumption to say, well, why the hell would Raiola be going to Oregon if he's just going to be the backup? And in fact, the plan is for him to back up Dante Moore. Now, we can talk about the draft implications of that later. But as far as Dante Moore returning to Oregon and what we've seen of Dante Moore throughout the course of the season, and then, did he have an overwhelmingly great performance in the postseason? I didn't think Oregon was just outmatched top to bottom by Indiana. And frankly, I thought at least, and maybe this is easy for me to say because I was in attendance and, there were Indiana fans everywhere foaming at the mouth, but it felt like Oregon did not necessarily handle the pressure of being outnumbered 95-5% in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I thought a young team, rightfully so, kind of crumbled in that moment. What do you make of the idea of Dante Moore going back to Oregon? What does that mean for the landscape of college football moving forward?
I mean, he will be up there when it comes to Heisman contenders going into the year, but there will once again be a large gap when you look at the odds for the Heisman Trophy in 2026 between Arch Manning and everybody else. Not to make this an Arch Manning conversation, but if we thought the pressure was on Arch last year, it's ramped up to me this year after his incredible performance in the Citrus Bowl. Texas, by the way, we never mentioned, picked up the Auburn wide receiver that hit the transfer portal. And, oh, my God, I am having an absolute brain fart right now on the full name of
Coleman?
Cam Coleman, thank you. Yes.
Oh, my God, you really are falling apart.
I know.
This is the state of the SEC.
So the expectations for Texas are once again going to be sky high. It's all going to be about Arch Manning next year. But Dante Moore is absolutely a part of that conversation. And I think this is good for Dylan Raiola. Do what Dante Moore did when he transferred to Oregon. He sat behind Dylan Gabriel and got his opportunity, and very well could have been the number 2 pick in the draft. This upcoming draft, decides to go back. I'm not sure what kind of money he's making, but he will be well compensated. And Dylan Raiola, lest we forget, broke his leg last year. So long rehab process for him, and he's got time.
I don't think he's following in Dante Moore's footsteps.
Think he's out of there?
No, I think he's already got another set of footsteps that he's following.
He's following in that Pat Mahomes footsteps. You know, his rookie year in the NFL, he sat behind a veteran who was a first overall pick in the NFL draft.
You think that's how they sold it to him? Oh, Pat had to sit?
Well, you saw Pat Mahomes had to wear an Oregon jersey the other day because he lost a bet. So
I did not see that.
So I think that he saw that and was like, oh, that's the school for me. If Texas Tech is good with their quarterback, then I'm going to Oregon.
You think he just completely forgot Pat played at Texas Tech? Be like, Patrick Mahomes is an Oregon fan?
Oh, there's still an opportunity. I could technically go to Texas Tech next year.
Yep, Brendan Sorsby, 1 year and done, and then Raiola will be right there to pounce. It would follow a pattern. Have you seen, like, the breakdown of Dylan Raiola's football journey? Yahoo Sports totally laid it out. And we've known that he bounced around high schools. He committed and decommitted to a bunch of schools. But the timeline, in 2021, he was attending Burleson High School in Texas. In 2021 and 2022, he was at Chandler High School in Arizona. That same year, he committed to Ohio State. That same year, he decommitted from Ohio State. Then he transferred in 2023 to Pinnacle High School, still in Arizona. Same year, he commits to Georgia. Then he transfers all the way to Buford High School in Georgia. 2023, decommits from Georgia, commits to Nebraska, signs with Nebraska, plays 2 seasons, a season and a half with injury, with Nebraska, then enters the portal and commits to Oregon. So Dylan Raiola very rarely has been, or at least pledged to be, in the same place for more than 1 to 2 years. So we'll see if he follows through with this and remains at Oregon next year. But yes, it is hard to ignore the Patrick Mahomes comparisons that he seems to force upon us.
Do you would you like the Vols to maybe take a swing and say, hey, Dylan, do you not want to sit? Do you maybe want to come play for the Vols?
It seems like they're going the FCS route, if anything. Now the smoke is around Western Carolina Catamount quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Taron Dickens.
Oh, so you had the App State guy, and you were like, we love the mountains of North Carolina so much, we're going to go get another quarterback just like him.
Well, he was always the number 1 target, but Taron Dickens, potentially, always wanted Taron Dickens.
What the Dickens? What
Has anybody had to do more coping, maybe Titans fans, with the Harbaugh thing than Lucas about the Vols quarterback
Harbaugh's
situation?
too old. Sam Levitt, foot injury.
You really have
not
a rough
interested
week here as far as your sports fandom, buddy.
Not interested.
I thought he was crying.
Taron Dickens, who started a game 46 of 46 last year against Mercer. I'm just saying.
That's outrageous.
That's insane, right?
That's actually outrageous.
He went 53 of 56 against Mercer last year.
What's his average yards per attempt on that? Because, like, I have to admit,
there you go.
I have to imagine he's just throwing it to the running back and checking it down every time.
And he would be brought
46 of 46 is absurd.
It was, and they lost too. Mercer won. Mercer won the game 49-47. Taron Dickens.
VFL or VFL no?
He had a pick.
He had 7 touchdowns.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait, maybe this is a different game I'm looking at, because in this
I
game...
think it extended into that game, potentially. But
okay. His completion streak of 46 straight extended into the Mercer game. I see what you're saying. But in the Mercer game, he had 551 yards and 7 touchdowns, but they still lost. He would be a body. He would compete for the job. And, it's not something that has happened. It's just where the smoke is now, that Tennessee seems to be going the FCS route because they need somebody.
615-737-1045. John Harbaugh's off the table. Who do you, as a Titans fan, want to be the next head coach? Call in and tell us. We'll talk about what potential pivots they have at their disposal coming up next.
Oh, it's about lunchtime, the best time of any weekday, which means it's about time for Hattie B's Hot Chicken at any one of their 7 Middle Tennessee locations. You can walk in and pick up for takeout, or download the Hattie B's app and order for delivery. They will bring their famous hot chicken straight to you. It is the best in the world, and if you're like me, you put a high priority on the sides, and the sides are fantastic. The pimento mac and cheese, my personal favorite, but with the southern greens, the baked beans, the French fries, you just can't go wrong. By the way, when you download the Hattie B's app, you get a free dessert just for downloading the app. Try out that banana pudding. It is a playoff weekend in the NFL. We've got divisional round games Saturday and Sunday. Of course, the national championship game is on Monday. Fuel your watch party with a big old bucket of Hattie B's hot chicken. Hot or not, whatever works for you. There are healthy options as well, like the Southern salad with those cornbread croutons. They will change your life, and let Hattie B's make your watch party hot today. 11:02. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. The New York Giants are reportedly finalizing a 5-year deal to make John Harbaugh the highest paid coach in the NFL, a reported $100 million deal, as it is the first head coach opening to be filled in the coaching carousel. The Titans were reportedly set to meet with Harbaugh in Baltimore today, but the Giants did not let him leave the building. College basketball, Vanderbilt dropped its first loss of the season at Texas, 80-64. The Commodores tied a program record for best start to a season at 16-0 before falling in Austin. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So what's the pivot? No John Harbaugh. He's going to be the next head coach of the New York Giants. But 8 teams are probably asking themselves that exact same question today. Now, there were only 3 that were even rumored to be close in the Harbaugh situation, and only one of them actually got a meeting. He was scheduled to meet with the Tennessee Titans today. They had Amy Adams-Strunk had brought the PJ from Houston to Nashville, was going to go to Nashville to Baltimore. Chad Brinker, Mike Borgonzi, Amy Adams-Strunk in attendance to interview John Harbaugh in person at his home. But about 11 o'clock last night Central Time, news comes out. He's going to take the Giants job. Thank you all for your interest. So, what is the pivot that Titans fans most want their organization to make at this point in time? Mike McDaniel was here in person. He flew from Detroit, where he was interviewing for the offensive coordinator job, to Tennessee, where he interviewed for the head coaching job. How attractive is Mike? Well, we can get into all variety of different candidates here in just a second. Let's hear Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network detailing the pivot that not just the Titans, but 8 other organizations are going to have to make.
And no doubt the big news of the morning, John Harbaugh and the New York Giants finalizing a 5-year deal to make him the next head coach of the Giants. This was his choice. This was their top choice. This is why the Giants sped up the process and made sure they were in a position to hire. John Harbaugh spent the entire day yesterday at the Giants facility, the only facility that he ended up visiting. Now, the plan had been for the Tennessee Titans to fly into his Maryland home earlier this morning. They had the plane ready. They had the offer ready. They're willing to do what it took to get John Harbaugh, except the deal got done yesterday afternoon, stayed quiet till about 11:20 or so last night when it began to leak. The New York Post, I believe, was the first one. John Harbaugh had agreed to become the Giants head coach. The deal is not done. It's going to be finalized this morning, but had, in fact, accepted the job. The Tennessee Titans were informed last night that the deal was happening. And now for the Giants, for general manager Joe Shane, who led the search, they got the biggest fish. They got John Harbaugh and all he represents, all he built up with the Baltimore Ravens, building that foundation to take them to the playoffs year after year. They get Todd Monken, likely their new offensive coordinator, who is expected to go with John Harbaugh. They get it all. They make him one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL. They are now good. Meanwhile, for the other teams that don't have one, I'd be surprised if there was, we'll see, but I would be surprised if there was a hire quickly. What a lot of teams are going to do now is just say, you know what? The big fish is done. Let's go through the process. Bring in some finalists. Titans have a couple guys at the end of the week. Bring in finalists next week, and we may see several of these hires by the middle of next week.
All right, so where do you want to start? Do you want to go with what comes next, or you want to talk about what Rap Sheet said? Like
Let's
specific to the Titans.
What Rap Sheet had to say.
All right. So the question becomes, all right, they were prepared to make John Harbaugh their next head coach.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, John Harbaugh, we knew was going to be probably the highest paid coach of this cycle. Who's the highest? Do we know who the highest paid coach is in the NFL? Who do we think it is?
Well, it's probably Harbaugh.
McVay?
No, I bet it's Harbaugh.
You think Harbaugh is over McVay at this point?
At 20, for sure.
Yeah. So,
because when's the last time McVay got a contract?
I don't know. But if the Titans were willing to fly to Baltimore to sit down with John Harbaugh and vice versa, if John Harbaugh scheduled that meeting, it stands to reason that the Titans would be making a competitive offer, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I fully expected that they were prepared to pay $20 million a year for coach. So let's take this in parts. Robert points out in my ear that Andy Reid and John Harbaugh are now tied for the most or highest paid NFL head coaches.
Reid's at 20?
Yes.
Sean Payton at 18. Sean McVay, criminally underpaid at $15 million a year.
It makes less than Jim.
I bet it's just because of the last time that he physically did a deal, and that he will be adequately compensated when next his time comes. So let's take this in parts. Were the Titans serious about John Harbaugh? Hell yes. Hell yes. The owner does not go out of her way to fly from Houston to Nashville, pick up the administrators in Nashville, fly to Baltimore with a contract to meet with a coach in his living room if they are not prepared to offer that coach $20 million a year. So that's a good thing that they're in the money game, okay? That you don't have to worry about them going cheap for the sake of going cheap. Now, how many other coaches? I don't want them to offer Mike McDaniel $20 million a year, right? This is specific to John Harbaugh. But that they were serious about this particular situation is a good sign, because I think many Titans fans, and I think you could probably do this generationally. There's a contingent, I think that's fading, by the way, a contingent of Titans fans that consider their organization to be cheap. That where it comes to paying players top of market contracts and competing financially for premium coaches, for example, or facilities or stadium or anything else like this, honestly, the best thing that I can say about Amy Adams Strunk and her tenure as controlling owner of the Tennessee Titans is that she has invested a tremendous amount of money back into the organization, right? She's gotten the new stadium built. She's upgraded the facilities. They're spending competitively for coaches, or trying to. They have paid, Byard was top of market. Lawan was top of market. I think Harold was up there.
Jeff was close.
Jeff was, I think, fourth or fifth, and Jeff probably will be the top paid defensive tackle at some point, no matter how long that lasts. So I don't think that you can accuse the Tennessee Titans organization of not being financially committed to success. I honestly think that the rate that she fires coaches would be an indication that she is financially committed to success, because she's willing to eat money in ways that Cincinnati sure as hell not willing to do. That's the extreme, right? So it's not the worst case example of she's okay with, paying several coaches to go away if she doesn't feel like it's the right fit. I do think there's something to be said by that, even if I don't agree with the process of the firings.
I'm fascinated at what the market will look like for Mike McCarthy.
I think, I don't know. I'm not interested in Mike McCarthy, really. I think it's just kind of I think that's more like a mascot thing than anything else.
Why? You got to help me out with that, because the resume is what we have, right? And the resume is all there. So you got to help me out with why Mike McCarthy is that. I agree John Harbaugh is a better candidate than Mike McCarthy, but
why?
You got to help me out with why Mike McCarthy is so much worse than John Harbaugh.
No, I'm not saying so much worse, but why do you think that John Harbaugh is so much better when their resumes are basically equal?
The resumes are basically equal, but...
So what's the differentiating factor?
I guess the stability, the consistency that John Harbaugh had.
He's had it
in Baltimore.
The only reason that anything was unstable for any period of time under Mike McCarthy is because he had Aaron Rodgers and Jerry Jones.
Okay, so you are arguing for Mike McCarthy suddenly.
No. I'm pointing out to you that you are as equally uninspired by Mike McCarthy as I am, even though they're basically the same coach on paper.
No, I never said I was uninspired by Mike McCarthy.
What is inspirational about Mike McCarthy?
The fact that his resume is almost the exact same as John Harbaugh, which you just pointed out.
But that their resumes are basically the same, you would have felt John Harbaugh was a coup, and I think now Mike McCarthy feels like settling.
Look, on paper, all we have is on paper, right? What these coaches have done.
No, that's not all we have.
In their jobs in the past. Yes, it is. We're not in these conversations. All we have is what these coaches have done. We do not know what Mike McCarthy's relationship is with Chad Brinker. We don't know.
No.
But what we have is what we've seen these coaches do, right? Their body of work. Mike McCarthy would get me very excited as a Titans fan with that body of work coming into this organization.
And that body.
Well, the ideal male physique, yeah.
I'm telling you.
Devin says, Buck arguing just to argue. Like, help me out here. Like, what?
Harbaugh would have been better for business, and Mike McCarthy is not as good.
Why do you think that is?
Harbaugh is a more attractive candidate. He's more, I don't want to say more polarizing, but he is thought of to be a bigger get. Like he was an appreciably bigger get. I just want what's in the best interest of us, if I'm being completely honest. And the fact that we're able to do, a good radio show with 3 and 14 football, anything else I can get on top of that is better. I think that Harbaugh is a way bigger draw than McCarthy is. And I think Titans fans are looking to be inspired by something. I want the thing that's going to get Titans fans most interested in their football team because I'm tired of them telling me and showing me on a regular basis how much they don't care about their regular season.
I'm confused as to why Mike McCarthy wouldn't inspire the Titans fan base, if you think that's the case.
Well, I think now, in the absence of Harbaugh, I think it's going to not hit as hard. If it was McCarthy and Nagy, I think many people would have said, yes, Mike McCarthy, clearly and obviously the best possible case scenario. I think the idea of Harbaugh being out there at all and them even being close, which they were, to their credit. Again, I want to give them credit for being closer than anybody else, as far as I can tell, on Harbaugh. But I think in the aftermath of the Harbaugh thing, the Mike McCarthy idea hits a little less hard.
Harbaugh's the best candidate, yes, but to act like people would be disappointed by the Mike McCarthy
no,
hire,
I'm not saying people. I would be disappointed by Mike McCarthy.
Because they didn't get Harbaugh.
Just not a lot of juice.
Like, you'd be more disappointed at Mike McCarthy than Matt Nagy.
Yeah. I think I want to see what Matt Nagy wants to do in his second opportunity. Mike McCarthy's already had 2 cracks. How many people get their third NFL head coaching job?
Right. He's had 2 cracks at it. He's won at both stops.
Sure.
So I guess
that's going to guarantee that he's going to win here?
Because on one hand, no, nothing is guaranteed, period. I feel like you're talking out of both sides here. You're talking about how his resume is the same as
Lucas,
Harbaugh's.
You're asking me my opinion. I don't think that Mike McCarthy has as much juice as John Harbaugh. Simply that.
I just got a text, holy bleep, is Buck high? What is even his point about McCarthy?
Well, it's a fair question on most days because the answer would usually be yes, but...
You're just not being very clear.
No, my point is I find him less interesting. That makes for less interesting radio. I want good radio.
Nobody else cares about that, all right? Can we talk about the things people actually care about? And that is
why did you ask me what I think about this?
All right, this is an unproductive conversation.
615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate. Cameron is in Kentucky.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That was faster than I expected. Hey, so a while back I called back, and this is not the point. I'm just trying to get this in here. You said Kentucky sucks, and I told you to take your candy stripes and suck them. I take all that back. We do suck. Kentucky is horrible.
And Indiana's bad, too. It's okay. We can be miserable together.
Yeah, but I'm rooting for y'all in the championship, though. I'm really on that football thing. Anyway, it seemed like a couple of months ago you were kind of really high on Robert Saleh coming here, and you kind of, at least I thought you were. I could have swore I heard you saying they need to include him and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I don't know, man. I think Nagy's just going to be. He had a freaking Patrick Mahomes, man. Like I don't think he's going to pan out the way we want him to. Like. Something is telling me to either go Mike McDaniel or Robert Saleh, and I can't tell you why, but I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I'm open. I think the biggest thing that I find interesting about, so why if Nagy, let's just take this from a Titans fan perspective, Nagy is considered by a lot of people, it seems, a no-go. Like they don't want him no matter what context is provided around Matt Nagy, no matter how many puff pieces about his rehabilitation process in Kansas City, coaching rehabilitation process in Kansas City. There's just a portion of this fan base that just doesn't want anything to do with him, right? You would agree?
Oh, yeah.
Why is he different than Mike McDaniel or Robert Saleh or who's another head coach who may not have had the best, Kevin Stefanski? Like, what is the discernible difference other than Stefanski and Matt Nagy are the only 2 people of those former head coaches who have had previous opportunities who have won Coach of the Year and actually had success. Like Nagy and Stefanski are the 2 most successful of that group of second-chance head coaches. I look at them all, not quite the same, but like the idea that, okay, it didn't go well in your first opportunity, but there were some moments, there were some things, right? It wasn't a complete failure. start to finish. So why wouldn't I look at the more accomplished candidates of the group and say, yeah, I'd like to see what that guy can do in a second opportunity.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how positive the feedback seems to be for Mike McDaniel, but I think people get excited about the offense and some of the fun stuff that he did in Miami. And with Matt Nagy, I think people just look at the decline. And I don't think people look at it through the lens of, well, I'm curious to see what he does in his second time around, because people don't look at it as what will be better for radio. They look at it as what will bring the Titans wins.
And maybe this is a better way to articulate what I was trying to articulate poorly.
Please, yes.
On YouTube, the YouTube handle is just Big, which is, of course, your nemesis.
Big. I hate that guy.
Should have done Carrie better. Also, he died, didn't he?
Oh, I don't know. I'm only on season 3.
Spoiler alert.
I think
Come on, dude.
I think the actor's dead, isn't he?
Oh, I don't know.
All right, respectfully. Anyway, Big on YouTube says, I get what Buck is saying for once. It's a low ceiling hire, especially since we don't have a veteran roster like the Cowboys.
Talking about McCarthy.
So McCarthy's best accomplishments have been with
Super Bowl.
No. I mean, as far as what he has had to work with, this will be his least talented roster by a mile.
It will be the biggest project he will ever have taken on. Yeah,
sure. So I think that while he has absolutely been a party to Aaron Rodgers' success and Dak Prescott's success and CeeDee Lamb's success and all the great players that they had in Green Bay during that time, I think that, in the same way that I look at Harbaugh and be like, all right, what's the actual impact? Like somebody immediately got in the chat when Harbaugh was hired and said, Giants immediately a playoff team. Just because of Harbaugh? So if Mike McCarthy is going to come in here with the least talented roster he's ever worked with and just be kind of the stabilizing force, how long is that going to play out? Like, if they're going to go that direction, I would rather see them go younger. If it's not going to be Harbaugh, I'd rather them go with a more fresh-faced opportunity than Mike McCarthy, who won, yes, but won with Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott, who are discernibly, at various points in their careers, a top 3 and a top 10 quarterback in the league.
I guess, does Mike McCarthy not get credit for helping develop Aaron Rodgers?
I think he gets less.
Like Rodgers, it's not like he took over in the midst of Rodgers' peak. Right?
No.
Rodgers was a very young player, was a backup when he took over.
No, and I absolutely acknowledge that Mike McCarthy, again, I said he was a party to their success. But I think, are you going to give Mike McCarthy more credit for Aaron Rodgers' success than Aaron Rodgers?
I guess not.
Okay. 615-737-1045 is the number. We'll take your phone calls on this. We'll talk more about the candidates who are going to continue to interview this job and when they can move forward with it. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. 615-737-1045, the number if you would like to participate. Where do you want the Titans to pivot? John Harbaugh is off the table. First job opening to be filled. 8 more to go. Titans, of course, one of them. They can hire somebody at any point. So if they've got a few more interviews to do this weekend, I would expect, finalists no later than next week, and a decision to be made shortly thereafter. Let's start with Brian in Nashville. Hey, Brian.
Hey, guys. To me, Titans coaching search kind of getting a little off the rails as far as how we're talking about it. It kind of feels like, Mike McCarthy is sort of the settling option behind where, we had, a really good option and hope in Jim getting Harbaugh, right? And then, maybe it kind of feels like we're settling if we go with McCarthy. And I kind of feel similar with with Saleh, where it kind of feels like, and I know we obviously don't have the option anymore, but how we had Mike Vrabel and now Robert Saleh kind of reminds me of him, but it feels like a second-tier option behind somebody like him. But I don't know. I feel like I would get more excited about somebody like McDaniel just because of it would feel like if we make that hire, we're kind of investing in, okay, we know how his offense works. We know how he wants it to be. So we got to go out there and get some talent. We got to do this, and we are investing in having the coach that operates around having talent at wide receiver and running back and really high-flying offense. So I don't know. It feels like it would be kind of the right direction. But I know you guys know more than I do. I just wanted to get y'all's take on something like that.
On McDaniel. So, one, it wouldn't be the Tua offense. It'd be a different offense. Appreciate the call. I understand what he's trying to say, but by that logic, that would indicate that Mike McDaniel is more focused on building an offense out of talented skill position players than any other team in the league, which everybody's trying to do that, right? That's not exclusive to Mike McDaniel. That Mike Borgonzi clip of him talking about a leader, and we don't have to do the whole alpha male, bigger than you, tougher than you, stronger than you, faster than you type deal for that to be the kind of energy. Like, I don't know. I mean, there are plenty of people who will tell you Brian Callahan was really good in front of the team meetings and stuff like that, and it just didn't translate the way that it should have. Like, I know he's not viewed that way, but you could pull any number of, I'm sure if you ask players, like, he was really good at explaining what he was trying to accomplish because he did it with us all the time, right? It's just they weren't good at executing it, and he wasn't good in game. And the play calling stuff was too much for him, and he wasn't ultimately a good enough coach to do the job. How much of being a head coach, let's take it specifically here, how much of being a head coach is you have to have a specific expertise on one side of the ball or the other? Like, how much of an X's and O's job is the job of head coach actually?
I mean, it just completely depends.
I'm talking about here.
And I'm sorry, I'm not understanding your question.
Brian Callahan was well regarded as a sharp football mind. Yes?
Yep. He was brought in for the offense.
Did that make him a good head coach?
No.
So it's more than an X's and O's job.
Of course, yeah. But for some head coaches, it's much more X's and O's than for others.
Yes.
I do think they're looking for a candidate that is more about the CEO and leadership qualities than here's my scheme.
That's so the anti-McDaniel.
More or less, yeah. I would say so. McDaniel does not seem to fit the things that Mike Borgonzi highlighted, from what we are privy to.
And I'm not saying that Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi have a type, but they kind of remind me of one another in a couple of different ways. And Mike McDaniel seems antithetical. Not that he's not enough about ball or whatever. Like, he's clearly some kind of a mad scientist as far as the scheming of offense. And it's really about, all right, Mike, do you want to be a head coach or do you want to be an offensive coordinator? And honestly, the best thing that I can say about the Titans coaching search is that I think they're interviewing a bunch of people to not just interview for head coaches, but also to interview for potential staff opportunities.
Sure.
We talked about this yesterday. The LaFleur thing, to John Robinson's credit, he helped bridge the gap between Mike Vrabel and Matt LaFleur to get Matt LaFleur as an offensive coordinator. And it didn't necessarily work out all that well because Delaney Walker's ankle snapped in half on the first game of the season, and Lawan got concussed, and Mariota's elbow stopped working basically after the Miami game to where he had that weird, you remember that weird little half glove he had to wear because he couldn't feel his ring finger and his pinky?
Like, would you call Brian Daboll more of a head coaching candidate or offensive coordinator candidate?
Head coaching candidate because he is somebody who has called offensive plays, but what did he do in New York as the Giants head coach? He delegated. He hired Mike Kafka to run his offense.
Yeah. Took it back, gave it back to Kafka, took it back again.
Sure.
Kind of snip, snap.
But I think that you have to be willing to delegate. Like, you can't come in entrenched in the position that, no, it's my offense, I'm going to call it.
Is he interviewing anywhere else, Daboll?
I think I saw one other place. Maybe did I see Cleveland? You could probably find that on the internet.
Is Cliff Kingsbury more of a head coaching candidate or offensive coordinator candidate for the Titans?
Cliff?
Yep.
I would say he's an offensive coordinator candidate here. I think, again, I wouldn't rule him out because I would be interested in seeing what any second chance head coach would be willing to learn and adapt from their previous failed situation. Cliff was calling the offense on top of being a first-time head coach in Arizona. How many successful seasons? Cliff got a decent run. Like, he wasn't there for, I don't know, Callahan wasn't even here for a season and a half. So he was better at it than Brian Callahan. But is that something that he thinks that he's capable of doing again, but better? How does that Arizona experience impact his managerial style?
Would you call Jonathan Gannon more of a head coaching candidate or coordinator candidate? Former Eagles DC.
He's just kind of, I don't know what to think of him, right? I mean, there's only those like weird initial, like him meeting Kyler Murray videos. Do you remember that? Very cringy interactions.
Yep.
Their defenses weren't bad in Arizona. So I would view him more as a coordinator than a head coach.
I would too. I do think he got kind of a tough deal this past year. Kyler didn't play most of the year. They were rolling with Jacoby Brissett the majority of the season. They had like 8 one-score losses or something.
Well, and for, like, the Titans did end up with the toughest strength of schedule regular season as far as wins. Had the second?
Oh, is it Arizona?
Arizona had, in terms of wins by their opponents, Arizona had the second toughest strength of schedule. I mean, hell, just by playing it against the NFC West. The Titans and the Cardinals have that in common. They played the NFC West this year.
Like, they started 2-0 and then went on to lose like their next 5 games by 4 points or less. And some crazy games, including the Titans game.
Ivan is calling us from Queens.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Well.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm just asking about the Matt LaFleur situation up in Green Bay because we haven't heard anything yet about the contract extension. So I'm wondering how Mike Borgonzi will go about the hiring process. Would he drop everything to go after Matt, or would he just add him to the list of the other candidates?
Oh, I wouldn't go at it. I wouldn't. I mean, if you're asking me, and I like Matt. Like, I think he did as good a job here as he could have given the circumstance in the 1 year. And I think he's got the right demeanor to be able to handle the situation. That Bears game was bad. They looked so disorganized.
There will be a huge market for him if he were to come available, if for whatever reason.
But I don't view
this
him
didn't pan out.
I don't view him so above and beyond. Like, I wouldn't drop everything to go after Matt LaFleur. To pay Matt LaFleur top of market money.
I think there'd be a pretty big market for him. I mean, Schefter has talked about that. It is interesting that there hasn't been anything new on that since Monday when we learned they were going to work towards an extension. Like, if you're the Packers or if you're LaFleur and his representation, you know there's going to be a big market. There's going to be a big number for you if you are out there.
Sure, but you can't press Green Bay on, hey, give me $20 million a year. Did you see how that team just pooped the bed?
No, doesn't have to be 20, but I'm interested in, just kind of peeping over to that situation.
I don't think I think Matt LaFleur is going to ask for top of market money. And I'm not saying that should discourage you. I'm just saying you would be much more willing to pay John Harbaugh that because that's a proven commodity. Whereas Matt LaFleur is kind of dealing with a less extreme version of the Tomlin thing, where he makes the playoffs all the time, but they haven't done much winning of consequence since Aaron Rodgers left.
I would be interested to talk to somebody who knows that organization a little bit better and how much he played into getting Jordan Love up to speed. Because do you guys remember how god-awful Jordan Love was before he took the reins from Rodgers?
Yes.
Like, everyone thought that this was going to be an abject disaster when Rodgers left because Jordan Love was playing so poorly. I feel like Matt LaFleur deserves a lot of kudos for how he was able to shift that team into kind of maintaining the optimism after Rodgers left. But
we can get some. I mean, Jen Latta, who does a lot of work for College Game Day. She's based out of.
I like her a lot. Get her in here.
You're gonna make that joke when she's on,
of course.
Yeah, why would I not? Love you a lot.
Because it's a bad joke.
We love you a lot. You think I won't say that to a woman I'll never see again in my life?
The one time I've seen you scared to do that was with Candace Storyley.
No, because you made me scared. I wanted to say I love you. And you were like, no, I'm embarrassed. I don't do that.
No, I wasn't embarrassed.
That's why I didn't talk back through the Zoom. And I just didn't do it on air. And I was like, love you, Candace.
You whisper it.
Thank you.
But Jen Latta, who works out of Wisconsin, she does a lot of work for College Game Day. She's one of their feature reporters. She does talk radio in Wisconsin. She hit me up a couple of years ago about Malik going up there, so I, probably return the favor if you actually wanted like a Green Bay Packers segment on LaFleur.
Well, LaFleur's obviously done a great job with Malik.
Yeah, he sure has. I mean, that's the other thing. Does he want to continue to call the plays? Because like Brian Callahan didn't want to give up play calling. I'm assuming that most of these, like Cliff, McDaniel, LaFleur, if he was available at any point, I'm assuming that they're all going to continue to want to do this, right?
I would let Matt LaFleur keep calling plays. I don't think that's where
that Bears game was just so bad. Their defense, the tackles that they were missing was awful.
No, I think he's an excellent play caller.
Yeah,
excellent?
I would go so far as to say he would be the new best candidate on the market, far and away. Everyone else has failed somewhere else. Everyone else has a ding on him. His ding is he wasn't good enough to get over the hill. His team didn't fail on him like Mike McDaniels did.
So he's McCarthy, but younger.
He's McCarthy except for much slimmer and he could pull.
Well, and he doesn't have a Super Bowl. Like, let's not, like, again, Mike McCarthy has his resume is like a copy and paste of Sean Payton and John Harbaugh.
Yeah, but we talked about this. I think it's a whole lot easier to say that on paper, but on paper he had a much easier row to hoe than John or Sean did.
That division was not good the entire time that McCarthy was there.
And he had a cheat code.
And the one time they had injuries to Aaron Rodgers, they won like 6 games. He got fired, and the hated Matt Nagy won the division.
Who was it? Ted Thompson. Ted Thompson was killing the draft years in a row. Their biggest gripe was he didn't get us a first-round receiver. Meanwhile, he's drafting people like Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson, like the best guys you've ever seen with anything but a first-round pick.
Greg Jennings.
Greg Jennings. Let's step into the mind of a Greg Jennings.
One of the most hardest hitting safeties in the league.
Put the team on my back door with a broke leg.
Darren Sharper's one of the hardest hitting safeties.
I was about to ask, who was the safety? Was it Sharper
Darren Sharper
in the game?
Darren Sharper.
One of the hardest hitting safeties in the league.
That's like one of the first viral clips.
Broken leg Greg Jennings. Fantastic.
I got to go back and watch it in the break.
T-Mac is in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, I want to say that, first of all, I got a list of 4 candidates, but first of all, I want to say that the best coaching candidate right now, you might not like it, but it's Mike McCarthy. He's got the same resume that John Harbaugh has, and the edge that he has over Harbaugh is that he calls plays. I think the only knock against him is that he took a year off, so he doesn't have that recency bias. But my list of 4, I'm going to say Mike McCarthy, Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel, and for some reason, Clint Kubiak, and I hang up and leave.
He didn't call plays, did he? Didn't Eberflus?
Eberflus is a defensive coach.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's Schottenheimer?
I think Shotty did call plays, but I would have to double check
I mean,
that.
I'm sure Mike McCarthy has called plays at some point in time, but like Kellen Moore was the play caller.
McCarthy called plays with Rodgers.
Okay.
For sure.
But then famously, like that was the fallout, right? Like Aaron Rodgers would just change the plays.
I also think, anybody spends enough time with Aaron Rodgers, there's going to be a fallout at some point.
Fair enough.
they were together a while, man, over a decade.
You want to talk about being an adult in the room, it'd be tough for that guy, especially as he got older. So he's not been an active play caller. I'm looking at an article from November 19th, 2024. Mike McCarthy said Tuesday, okay, so he was calling plays and was not giving up play calling duties to offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. But I guess Kellen Moore called the plays, and then Mike McCarthy took back over play calling. So we could go back and look at the 2024 Dallas Cowboys offense and see if that was something that you would be interested in.
I think Dak got hurt that year too, right?
Oh, so they were awful.
They were 7-10.
27th in yards, 31st in points.
Did Dak miss that whole year?
No, he had a torn hamstring in week 9.
Okay.
That was the year that he was on pace to throw for like 10,000 yards, wasn't it?
He came out. He came out hot.
How many did he finish with that year in 9 games?
He played in 8 games. They went 3-5. He had 1,978 yards, 11 touchdowns, 8 picks.
That doesn't sound like the right year.
615-737-1045. We can take more of your phone calls. Let's go back to that Dante Moore story and talk about how it affects the Titans draft. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Best hot chicken in the world. All of their Middle Tennessee locations are open for business at 11 a.m. Central Time. If you're in Vegas, not quite yet. Got to wait a little longer. We got a call from Queens. I don't believe Hattie B's has broken into the New York market yet.
Sucks for them.
Only a matter of time. Only a matter of time. Birmingham, Huntsville, Atlanta, Dallas, Austin. I'm sure I'm forgetting some locations. Hattie B's, nationwide, soon. 615-737-1045, the number if you want to jump in. We'll pivot back to the Titans discussion here in just a minute. Where do they turn in the post-John Harbaugh wake? But Dante Moore is going to return to Oregon. We talked about that earlier in the show. He could have been, I don't know that he might not have been the number one pick in the draft, Lucas. I know Fernando Mendoza has had a better college football season. I know that he has had an incredible run through the college football playoff so far that will culminate on Monday, win or lose in the national championship. But I think that if you poll a number of NFL talent evaluators, I think they would probably nitpick Fernando Mendoza as much as they might Dante Moore.
Yeah, and to sit here in January and say anything definitively like that,
no, sure,
is just dumb. We don't know. Senior Bowl is yet to happen. Combine, all these things. It does feel like the Mendoza to number one overall pick, regardless of who else is in the draft, besides Arch Manning, is just a train that cannot be derailed at this point. But Dante Moore is staying, so he will not be a New York Jet, it would seem.
He doesn't want to be a New York Jet.
The best case scenario for the Titans, if they were looking for every option on the table to trade back to acquire draft capital, would have been some sort of scenario where as many quarterbacks as possible went into draft day as potential top 4, top 5 picks, right? And those guys would be Mendoza, Dante Moore, and Ty Simpson. A lot would have to happen to get to that point where those guys suddenly, their stock is so high that teams are trading up into the top 4 to get Ty Simpson. But either way, it looks like that will not be the case with Dante Moore staying in college. And right now it's Mendoza and Simpson at the top of that quarterback draft.
So what do the Jets do? They had Justin Fields under contract.
Pay Malik, just do the same thing you did with Fields. I don't know. I really don't know.
I hope not, for Malik's sake.
Me too,
I hope he goes to Indianapolis or something like that, just to have a chance to succeed.
I have no earthly idea what the Jets do at quarterback.
There are reclamation projects, guys. Don't be so quick to...
Malik's one of them.
Yeah, you could get Mac Jones. I'm sure Geno Smith will be floating around out there.
Oh,
you can
Lord.
go back to the Jets.
Geno has to be done. Right?
Who's the Jets OC?
Whoever it is should
Tanner
be fired.
Engstrand.
Ah, yes, Tanner.
43 years old.
He came over from Detroit, if I'm not mistaken.
And where is he from?
He's from San Diego.
San Diego, yes.
I know him well. Worked for Mike McCoy in San Diego.
Is there any idea that Ty Simpson could work his way up into the first round, given how many teams need quarterbacks? How many teams are we talking about that need quarterbacks, okay? Is this another version of the 2022 draft, speaking of Malik Willis, where Kenny Pickett is the only one that goes in the first round, and everybody's just trying to figure it out with the, what's the former, Desmond Ritters of the world, and Malik Willis's, but first-gen Malik Willis, not this Malik Willis. This feels like another 2022. Maybe Mendoza's higher end than Kenny Pickett ever was.
Yeah,
so I'll throw
100%.
I'll throw some names out. You guys tell me if you think that they would be interested in drafting a quarterback in the first round.
Yep.
Raiders.
Yes.
Obviously. Jets.
Yes.
Browns.
Should be.
Dolphins.
Should be.
Colts cannot because they do not have a first-round pick. But do you think they would be interested in bringing someone in, or you think they'd be okay bringing Daniel Jones back?
Oh, that's an interesting situation. They got it.
He's coming off an Achilles.
And he's a free agent. He was on a 1-year deal.
I would not want Daniel Jones back.
Then what do you do?
I know. Well, Malik, I just told you, Malik. Go pay Malik $50 million.
There's about to be a bidding war for Malik Willis.
That's what I'm saying. Dan Orlovsky tweeted the other day, Malik Willis is about to make $40 or $50 million. And I laughed at it, and I thought, oh, my God, he might be right.
If I was a pro rage baiter, I would just say, and the Titans only got a 7th-round pick for him. The Steelers.
Well, that's true.
Steelers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are the Vikings happy with JJ.
I think you have to be.
You got to stick it out.
Yeah, you can't be the team that talks about, churning and burning quarterbacks and then immediately churn and burn your first-round pick who you let go of Sam Darnold for.
Yeah, that's not looking great.
Cardinals?
Should be.
Yeah, depends what happens with Kyler, obviously.
I think Kyler's out.
If you're the Browns, you also probably just stick it out with Shador.
Oh, no, I think you stick it out with Deshaun.
Another thing to think of.
Yeah, they're going to draft another quarterback.
No, but seriously, I think you stick it out with Deshaun and trade Shador. You could get more than a fifth-round pick for Shador if this is the marketplace. I mean, I'm not saying I'd do it, but
potentially. And if you're the Browns and you already have a lame duck year this year with Deshaun Watson's contract, why would you not? And I hate this. We do this every single year. We don't know anything about the 2027 draft.
Sure.
But the 2027 draft is shaping up to be a very quarterback-heavy draft. Does Cleveland just take their medicine, eat the poop sandwich this year, and then go into next year and draft a quarterback?
I don't think Andrew Berry. I mean, I think that man should have no job security whatsoever, given the run.
He should be Andrew Berry-less.
Yes, I would agree. Now, what I do think this means is stock up guys like Anthony Richardson and Will Levis.
I was about to say. Yeah.
Will Levis, who just got excoriated by the Nashville Predators mascot for daring to wear a Ducks jersey while he's hanging out in Anaheim or wherever they are. They in Anaheim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, the Ducks are in Anaheim. Yeah, was he honored at the Ducks game? They put him on the Jumbotron?
No, he's been living in California for 8 months.
I understand that, but I'm just imagining them putting Will Levis up, and then people are like, who? In Anaheim, California? The former Kentucky and Titans quarterback?
Yeah.
Who in Anaheim knows anything about Will Levis?
Are the Ducks any good? I have no idea. Maybe they just maybe they're just looking for a little social media pop.
I bet Ty Simpson will be a first rounder.
Just because of desperation.
Yeah, there's too many desperate teams, yeah.
Well, maybe not necessarily desperation, but maybe he would fit the mold of a team who's picking at the back half, like a Steelers, but
Rams.
another team bingo. Team I did not think about until I pulled up the whole list of the NFC. Wouldn't that make a ton of sense? Matthew Stafford, the whole talk about him in this offseason coming into training camp. He has to live in a hyperbaric chamber that they've built beside the practice field. He's a clone. Mm-hmm. This year he's squeezing his hand. His hand's not hardly working. He's like RoboCop. He's built together from pieces and parts from all over the world. And just bring somebody young in to sit behind him. Wouldn't that make all the sense in the world?
What if they win the Super Bowl and he just rides off?
He should.
That's it. I'm done. Hall of Famer, second Super Bowl, locked in. Goodbye. He's 37.
I would like to see, and I don't know which one McVay would prefer, I would like to see McVay get a crack at Richardson or Levis.
Oh, the Super Bowl is the day after his 38th birthday, Stafford.
The other two teams that are mentioned in this quarterback questions for 2026, I feel like one of them has already played out. They've listed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If the Bucs wanted to get rid of Baker, but judging by all the teams we've said that need quarterbacks, I think
they want to.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they would want to,
why?
but they are listed on it because he did have a down year, but he was surrounded by injuries. His skill position players, their offensive line was marred.
Wasn't he also terribly injured himself? Isn't this the whole reason Cleveland let him go in the first place and now deeply regrets it? Probably.
Yeah, he was banged up.
And they're returning probably one of the more complete teams in the NFC. The final team that is listed on teams with quarterback questions heading into 2026, the Seattle Seahawks, owes Sam Darnold no more guaranteed money. All of his guaranteed money came in year one. If he has a catastrophic collapse in the playoffs, do you think they end up sticking with him for another year, or would they try to add someone in the draft?
You can do both.
Why not?
But, yeah, I think you got to run it back with Darnold. Vikings just made that same mistake.
No, let's see what happens in the playoffs. I don't think you have to.
Because, I mean,
that's what we said last year about Minnesota, and look where they are and look where the Seahawks are.
Okay, so if J.J. McCarthy has a down bad year and an injured year but comes out and looks great this year, are we just going to be like, okay, Kevin O'Connell was right?
It's all on the table.
I think that's more likely than the idea that Sam Darnold is just going to suddenly turn into something he's never been in his career. He's a game-changing player.
That felt good.
He doesn't have to be. He just has to be what he's been all year for them to have success in the playoffs.
I think he has to have less Sam Darnold of late moments. He's not been good, objectively good
He's had one meltdown game this year against the Rams.
I'm not saying meltdown, but like think about your margin for error in a single elimination tournament. Like there are no more games after this one. And the last time we saw Sam Darnold in single elimination, he crumbled.
We'll see. He has not really hurt them much as of late.
Find out this weekend.
Doesn't that feel good though?
What?
Talking about the draft.
It's appropriate now.
Talking about
don't look at me. I'm not the one holding you back here.
So
No,
next Monday, when Buck is out, we can have a mock draft Monday next Monday.
Well, buddy, we've got playoff reaction. We've got a national championship to preview. Stretch it out.
I'm gonna find a way to work in a mock draft Monday.
Do you guys want me to do the show on Tuesday?
No.
I feel like I'm going to be miserable.
Oh yeah, Tuesday, yes, you can come back.
My flight lands at 9:20 a.m. I'm probably not going to have slept.
That's probably about the exact same time you would normally get to the station.
It's earlier than I normally get here. Harbaugh, what do the Titans do? Why did the Titans not get in the room? We'll talk about it next. That would immediately put me into a bit of a DEFCON, maybe not 1 situation, maybe DEFCON 2.
There you
at this
go.
point in time. But yeah, I mean, it's head on a swivel season for certain. And the news of the morning, or I guess the news of last night as we tape this on a Thursday morning, is that John Harbaugh will fill the first chair, and he will become the next head coach of the New York Giants. But also, since we've spoken, Greg, Mike Tomlin has stepped down. He will not be coaching. In 2026 at minimum. We'll see what his next steps look like. And I just wonder now.
.12:03, good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Down studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. The New York Giants are reportedly finalizing a 5-year, $100 million deal to make John Harbaugh one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL. It's the first head coach opening to be filled in the coaching carousel. The Titans were scheduled to meet with Harbaugh today in Baltimore, but New York did not let him leave the building. On Wednesday, the Titans interviewed Arthur Smith and Mike McDaniel for the head coaching position. College basketball, Vanderbilt dropped its first loss of the season at Texas, 80-64. The Commodores are 16-1. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour is upon us. Nate Washington will join us. We'll get his thoughts on Mike Tomlin, who he played for as a Pittsburgh Steeler before he came to the Tennessee Titans. We'll also ask him about what he thinks about the Titans not being able to land John Harbaugh. What do you think about the Titans not being able to land John Harbaugh? 615-737-1045 is the number. Do you take the moral victory of, well, they had a chance. They had a better chance than most? Because that's accurate. They did. They committed to the idea that they were going to fly to Baltimore, Amy Adams-Strunk, Chad Brinker, Mike Borgonzi, present him a contract, do it in his home after he had spent the day with the New York Giants, after they also had a home visit. It's like, what do they call it in The Bachelor and The Bachelorette? Hometowns? They did hometowns with John Harbaugh. You unfamiliar with this?
I am. I have never seen any content from either of those shows.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not like totally like, I'll get sucked into an episode of Love Island like when Megan's watching it, but I've never seen The Bachelor.
What's the difference between Love Island and Love is Blind?
Oh yeah, never mind. I have not seen Love Island. I have seen Love is Blind.
Okay.
Love is Blind, you can't see the people. Love Island, you just hook up with everyone possible.
Just stuck on an island together.
Oh, lovely.
Love is Blind can be pretty entertaining.
I have not seen an episode of Love is Blind. No, hometowns in The Bachelor and The Bachelorette are when you make it to like the finalists and you start visiting in their hometowns. You go and spend time with their family. I don't know how many days it ends up being. So the Titans the Titans were supposed to do a hometown with John Harbaugh. Didn't get to. Giants made sure that they held him hostage essentially for 9 hours and then like, John.
What's this rom-com called? If the Sam Levitt sweepstakes was Love It or Lev It. The Giants
harassing Harbaugh?
Not letting Harbaugh leave New York to go meet up with another potential suitor.
Holding Harbaugh hostage?
No, that sounds aggressive.
It's a little clunky.
Maybe like,
You're better at this than we are.
I want to make Harbaugh happen somehow,
like a Flavor of Love type of situation?
Yeah, but
Rock of Love? I Love New York? All these different things?
Rock Harbaugh, or I don't know. Give me a little bit.
Rock Harbaugh?
Yeah, like rock hard.
Oh.
Dart in the heart?
That's pretty good. That's better than the other ones.
No, I don't like
like a Cupid type of situation.
No, I got what he was doing there.
Yeah, we're going to name a movie about a side character. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Let's name.
Who plays Jackson Dart?
Let's name. Let's call The Blind Side after his little dweeb brother.
Who plays Harbaugh?
His dweeb brother. Oh, the adopted brother.
Tennessee's offering. I can run through the T. What do you got? How about you shut up, AJ? Or what was his name? DJ? EJ?
It doesn't matter. SJ.
SJ.
I don't think that's right.
No, it was a dumb little. I think it is SJ.
Who does Timothy Chalamet play?
Anyway, do you take a moral victory in the idea that the Titans were even in the running remotely for John Harbaugh? Or do you think it's a bit of an embarrassment that the Titans would get that close, be willing to go all out, and not even be able to get in the room with John Harbaugh? I don't think it is directly related to Amy Adams-Strunk, okay? I want to make sure that I'm clear on that, because I think that she is showing, and I've never doubted that she has a commitment to doing what's in the best interest of the football team. I just think she's made bad decisions and hired people who have made bad decisions in the last couple of years. But it is her organization, so ultimately that's who you look to. I do think that how many other owners do you guys think, if Steve Bisciotti was interested in hiring John Harbaugh, let's say, and Steve Bisciotti said, I'm going to fly to Baltimore. I'm going to bring my GM and my president of football operations. We're going to have the meeting there. You don't have to come to us. We'll come to you.
Well, he lives there. Probably found like literally any other owner as
Jerry
an example.
Jones.
Okay. All right.
I just think of Bisciotti because we just heard him do a press conference and he's top of mind.
Like, would Jerry have gotten in the room?
Jerry's getting in the room.
Well, I can think of another owner that wouldn't and didn't.
Oh, sure.
Arthur Blank.
But do we know that they were scheduled to fly to Baltimore?
I don't know where the Falcons meeting with Harbaugh was supposed to take place.
It kind of fell off at the end. Like, at the end, they weren't even really talking about Atlanta. I don't know how close Atlanta was to Tennessee.
But it was scheduled, so I don't know where it was scheduled for.
Either way, you are correct, but there was no reported. We have an indication that they had a contract that they were preparing to bring to Baltimore, to his home, for him to sign if he wanted to be the next Titans head coach. I'm not saying that Amy, isn't as, is the least respected owner or anything like that, because to Lucas's point, she got further than Arthur Blank did. And Arthur Blank, I think, is well regarded in the NFL. But I do think that there's a certain caliber of owner that is not getting essentially snubbed. At the 11th hour, literally at the 11th hour, about 11 p.m. Central Time, when the news came down that he was just going to take the Giants job before they were preparing to bring the entire contingent up to Baltimore today. I think there is some degree of this that she and her organization, the people tasked with running her organization, are going to have to earn back as far as, no, if we're going to go out of our way, we're at least going to get in the room. Because I think it's a bit of a failure to have all these things scheduled. I think it presents the opportunity for people to be like, oh, well, his interest was never real, even though I think there was a real level of interest from John Harbaugh in the Titans. I don't discount that at all. I know Zach has talked publicly about he doesn't think that's the case. I vehemently disagree with him. He's entitled to his opinion. Bob Kraft, Jerry Jones, who are the most respected owners in the NFL? Who, if they're going to make that kind of effort to fill their head coaching vacancy while also being prepared to pay you $20 million, I have to imagine that a different caliber of owner that the Tennessee Titans does not have has the level of respect to at least get John Harbaugh to take that meeting.
Clooney.
For Harbaugh?
Clooney plays Harbaugh.
Oh, that's
sure.
a good pull.
That's really good.
Great pull.
Dart would have to be some up-and-coming, relatively unknown actor. He's too young to put like an established star.
I think you could AI the hell out of Brad Pitt and just make him Jackson Dart.
Literally Benjamin Button the rest of his
give
role.
him some Botox and a long hair wig and he's cooking like he's Jackson Dart.
I mean, I love a Brad Pitt George Clooney collab. Sign me up.
Is that going to be the next gen De Niro, Pacino? Like they're just going to age together into time, and they're all of a sudden they're going to do 4-hour Netflix movies?
I mean, they've done the Ocean's movies together, which are awesome. Underrated movie, I think it's called.
The one is awesome. The rest of them are.
I like Ocean's 12, but they did a movie together called Wolves. I think it's called. That's on Apple TV. That's really good. But yeah, Wolves. Check it out. The Giants just made a Godfather offer here, right? Like the Giants clearly had the intent to not allow John Harbaugh to leave the building.
Sure, but
they didn't let him leave the building.
Okay, but Lucas, every advantage.
Austin Butler. That's good.
Darts?
That's perfect.
Whoa, who said that?
That's fantastic.
Marciano in the chat.
Yeah. Shout out to the F&M Bank chat.
Well
That's
done
good.
by him. Austin Butler.
That's really good.
He's got a little bit of his lip hangs over kind of. But either way, Lucas, they have every advantage that an NFL team could possibly want to have to lure a head coach. Young, ascending, theoretically, quarterback. Cap space all over the place. No state income tax in the state that you live. We're prepared to offer him the $20 million, the same deal, the Godfather offer that he got, the 5 years, $100 million. You don't get that. You don't get that far in the conversation without being prepared to pay that money. So theoretically, the Titans would have had a better financial offer for John Harbaugh than would the New York Giants if they were also prepared to meet the $20 million mark because taxes. They have every advantage, and it's not just Titans fans telling me that they've got every advantage. Like, I believe that all of these things are advantageous. The cap space, the GM, the quarterback, the city, the all-pro defensive tackle that wants to be a foundational building block. They've got every advantage any NFL team would want.
Wait, hang on a second. Literally 2 days ago, you put the Titans like 3 or 4 spots behind the Giants in your open jobs opening. Now they have every advantage the Giants have and then some?
No, they have every advantage that a head coaching candidate would want in a job theoretically. If you took the name Tennessee Titans off of it and Las Vegas Raiders off of it, I basically think they're the same job right now, given the kind of stipulations that they come with. But if I gave you those jobs in a vacuum and said number 1 overall pick last year, rookie contract, all-pro defensive tackle, under contract, looking for an extension, no state income tax, promising general manager, respected league-wide, and $100 million plus in cap space, but I didn't put the name Tennessee Titans on it, that would be viewed on paper, your Mike McCarthy thing, on paper as the most advantageous job out there. And yet they can't even get in the room with all those advantages.
I'd say the Giants have a lot of those advantages.
They do.
With a couple more parts and pieces in terms of their younger talent, like we've talked about. Again, you ranked the Giants significantly above the Titans in your job rankings.
I think the Titans, I do think the Titans are an appreciably worse organization than the New York Giants are.
I'd say in the last...
They are not as historically relevant.
5 or so years, it's been about the same.
Sure, but it's not about... If it's just about the last 5 years, they're not even getting the interview, right? I think the advantages even get them the opportunity to interview, even though they didn't actually get the opportunity. Like, they had everything that they could possibly have, and they couldn't get in the room.
Yeah, the Giants have the prestige of being the biggest market in the NFL.
Yes.
The biggest, number 1. And, yes, being a championship legacy organization, for sure. That is probably the biggest difference between the two organizations.
It's a better organization, a more respected organization than Tennessee Titans are. Like, if I was the Giants, I'd look around and be like, really, you're going to take the Titans job over this? Like, it's obviously a more detailed and complicated argument than that, but like, really, John? You're gonna go spend the rest of your years in Tennessee?
I mean, I feel like it kind of
okay back there?
What did you want me to hawk it up on, Mike? I had to stop it.
I don't know. The two of you come to a screeching halt every time I do it.
Well, now you've messed me up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I got it again. I found it. I grabbed it. It kind of feels to me like a Peyton Manning-esque situation where there might have not have been a real chance that Peyton was going to come to Tennessee other than his ties with the Vols. But why did he choose to go to the Broncos? The connection with John Elway.
Mm-hmm.
John Elway understood what it was like to be a high-level quarterback at that stage in his career. I feel like the Mara family was uniquely equipped to give him what he needed as I'm using air quotes because some people may not feel this way, but a legendary coach. the Bill Parcells, the Tom Landrys, the Tom Coughlins. Like, they have had that. They've been there before. They've got the T-shirt. They understand the respect in which Harbaugh wanted and how to support a coach of that stature. I feel like that lent itself to that situation more than what either one had to offer tangibly, if that makes sense. Would you listen to that argument?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, clearly Harbaugh has there's a mutual respect there between he and the Mara family. Like, the Giants have been worse for longer than the Titans. When's the last time the Giants were relevant?
Oh.
I guess when Dable made the playoffs.
Yeah.
But even then, that was sort of a blip in the radar.
2021 or something like that.
Yesterday and / today is probably the best day Giants fans have had in 10-plus years.
Oh, by a mile, for sure. I'm not saying that their recent lack of success is not a reason to ding them. They've clearly made bad decisions, just as the Titans have, to get to a point where they are the basement dwellers of their division. But I think that you still look at the Giants as being an appreciably better job for all the institutional reasons that we just cited, and it was not enough to overcome all the tangible things that the Titans have at their disposal. If John Harbaugh is reported to have watched tape on Jackson Dart and Cam Ward and ultimately come away with saying, and I'm not saying this was exclusively the thing that made the decision, right? Because we have talked about the Giants roster being way closer to meaningfully competitive. They have a franchise left tackle. They have a defensive line that's got first-round picks and talent all over the place that's underperformed, but still, they have it. They have 3 wide receivers who are better than a single wide receiver on the Tennessee Titans. They have more for a coach at 63 years old to win with more immediately. I don't know how much winning the Giants will do in 2026, but I know they're closer to it than anybody would look at the Titans and say, all right, they've never felt further from a Super Bowl than they have in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I guess I was just trying to figure out exactly where, to go from Titans are a significantly worse job than the Giants to the Titans have every advantage the Giants have. They just don't have the respect the Giants have.
Yes.
It's just kind of like all over the place.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the Raiders. The Raiders theoretically have everything that you would want if you just put it on paper, except they're the Raiders.
And they've been more toxic and more unstable for longer than the Titans have been. Sure. That's the one that I definitely don't understand.
Head of the Titans, because I don't see anybody with the advisory capacity for a number 1 overall pick at quarterback with the Tennessee Titans organization that is anywhere close to Tom Brady.
Well, no, we have no idea if Tom Brady is going to be good at helping run a football team. You've already said.
No. It's not helping run a football team.
That is what he's doing.
It's helping. Yes, that is a part of his job. But his job is now going to be, I would imagine in huge part, helping to bring along the number 1 overall pick at quarterback.
You've already said you ranked the Raiders above the Titans because of your bias against the Titans.
Yeah, because I know more about them.
Yeah.
And I have plenty of people who have worked with the Raiders who reached out to me after I put out that list and said, no, I've been there. It's worse, which is the same thing. They're a push. They're basically the same job. One has a quarterback that's been in the league for the year. The other has yet to draft one. Nate Washington, next. All right. Hate to keep Nate Washington waiting, but I talked way too long in the last segment. Nate Washington joins us now. Football Was My Father is the book. Check it out in the Amazon bookstore at NWash85 is where you can follow him on Twitter. Nate, how much notice, if any, did you have that Mike Tomlin was going to step down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers following that just awful, awful game against the Houston Texans?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was some speculation amongst me and some of my peers, some of the old teammates that I had there. I think it's just one of those things, knowing Mike T personally, he is a standard is what the standard is type of guy, even with himself. And if, those things haven't been panning out, I'm pretty sure he understands the fans' point of view and their sense of urgency as well. For those things to not go right, here in this last 4 or 5 years tenure of his position there in Pittsburgh, I think he just understood that it was time to move on. It's not surprising to me that it went that way. I think more than anything, when you think of the Steelers, obviously you think of 3 coaches, and he is definitely one of those coaches, pinnacle mark of that organization. So it'll be interesting to see how we move on. But obviously, I think me, myself, my teammates, the whole organization and the fan base is grateful for the time he gave us.
What was the first impression you had of Mike Tomlin when you came into the league, Nate, at the place that you were coming into the NFL from Tiffin? Obviously, that leap you were making in your career. What kind of impression did Mike Tomlin leave on you during your few years in Pittsburgh?
So it was funny. I'll give you a quick story of our first training camp practice with Mike T. We're coming in from Coach Cowher. With Coach Cowher, full pads was helmet, shoulder pads, and sometimes we would wear shorts. That was full pads for us because nobody was really getting hit low anyway. So our first training camp with Mike T, our first full padded practice, we come down from the locker room, go down the steps, go into the bowl, part of the practice facilities where we practiced in Latrobe, and we get down there all the way down the steps, and he literally looked at Hines first. He looked at Hines and was like, had this confused face as to like, what are you guys doing? Like, I told you it was full pads today. And here we are with our shoulder pads, helmet in hand, and our shorts on. And everybody's looking like, well, this is full pads for us. This is how we practice full pads with Coach Cowher. And he looked at us literally and was like, well, this ain't Coach Cowher no more. So when I say full pads, I want the pants on. And I mean the pants that come all the way past your knees. So we were like, what? So he literally made us go back upstairs before that first full padded practice, put on our whole equipment, including pants that covered our knees. And that's how things worked with Mike T. He was very, very understanding that as much as he wanted to continue to steer away, it was important for him to put his own stamp on his time. And that's who Mike T was. He was always able to relate with the players. He was always able to request the best out of them by doing the small things like that. So I think his impact will always be left not only on guys like myself, but even the bigger name guys that have passed through that organization.
Nate Washington with us. When you think about what the Steelers will prioritize to replace Mike Tomlin, what comes to mind?
I think a defensive head coach. When you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization throughout the years, defense has always been the pinnacle and the foundation of that organization. Dating back to the Steel Curtain days, the defense has always been the eye-opener, the one that's going to win the championships for them. And with that said, you look at Coach Cowher, you look at, Mike T and his defensive abilities that before he got to the Steelers, I think that'll be the same trajectory that this organization will go down. I can see them hiring a defensive coordinator or a positional head coach from the defensive side of the ball. I think that'll work out for them. While also, I think they understand that, while the defense has also been the foundation of that organization, it's definitely going to be important to find an offensive coordinator that's able to work some good things with the offense next year. Obviously, the quarterback position is in the situation that it's in, but I think all in all, you'll end up seeing a defensive head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers next year.
Nate, somebody in the chat just pointed out what Nate just said is exactly what the Titans lack. The organization has had zero identity. But I disagree with that statement because I think they have had similar DNA, right? Defense, running the football. Maybe you grind and grit it out in a lot of these games, and maybe it's not the most aesthetically pleasing style of football historically. But, Fisher, Munchak, Vrabel, like a lot of these coaches, Malarkey, a lot of these coaches had that identity, and it just feels like in the last couple of years they were chasing something that they weren't, and it kind of bit them in the ass.
Correct. I think, when you look at the times that the Titans organization was successful, those were the things that they were good at: running the ball, being good on defense, getting takeaways, and having those type of foundational pieces. But I think, as you stated, getting away from those things hasn't been successful for them. And they have to find a way to get back to that foundation. I think even when you look at the AFC Central, that was once in the early 2000s with Jacksonville, the Titans, the Steelers, all of them playing in one division. I think that's exactly where you get it from. That physical mindset of hardworking blue-collar guys going out and playing a physical game has always worked well for them, being able to run the ball and being stout on defense, So I think once the Titans understand that that's where they need to hang their hat and keep it there, I think that's the foundation that the Titans need to have.
John Harbaugh was going to interview with the Titans this morning. He basically called it off and said, I appreciate your interest. Thank you for being willing to fly up here with the owner, the general manager, and the president of football operations, but I'm just going to take this Giants job. Ironically, I'm actually pretty surprised that he just did one interview and then took that job, which would lead you to believe, and it's an assumption, but that he was probably favoring the Giants the whole way through. I do have to think, though, Nate, there's one part of it to say, well, at least the Titans got closer than anybody else, but they didn't actually get the guy. They couldn't even get in the room. What do you make of Harbaugh to the Giants and the Titans' inability to even get the meeting they were willing to fly to Baltimore for?
Well, here's the thing. I really see a guy that was comfortable in his spot and his position in Baltimore, right? You're there for 17, 18 years. The community knows you. The organization knows you. While it may have been a revolving door of players, that whole community and that fan base understands that he's been the pinnacle for Baltimore for over 15 years. And when you're a guy like that in that type of position, you're comfortable, right? So you want some comfortability. Moving around a lot and doing a bunch of interviews is not ideal for a guy that spent his tenure of 15 plus years in one specific spot. I think it was more so about just him transitioning to the next spot. And if he felt comfortable there in New York and the things that they provided and the conversations that they had prior to his visit, I think that was the solidifier for him. Being a guy that was, only in Pittsburgh for 4 years in my tenure, it was hard for me to make multiple visits. I had a full slate of visits coming up as I was a free agent at one time. But if I found that one specific spot that felt good, that no other spots were going to matter to me no matter what they were talking about. And that's exactly what I see here with Coach Harbaugh. I think it was just an easy transition for him. The Giants made it comfortable. They made it the position attractive to him. And I think the New York fan base is ready for a guy like Harbaugh. I think he understands as well that that's been an organization that's been around the NFL for quite some time and has had a foundation of being successful. And I think he understands getting them back to that pinnacle will do something for him, not only personal, but for that fan base in that state.
If they're even capable, how do the New England Patriots avoid what the hell happened to your Pittsburgh Steelers against that Houston defense?
Oh, man, it's going to be interesting. I think one thing about the Patriots in comparison to what my Steelers, the brick wall we ran into was a consistent and inevitable run game. Dealing with Vrabel, he doesn't care what the situation is. He's going to want to be physical throughout the whole game. So you're going to look at those running backs getting about, anywhere to 12 to 20 carries apiece for Henderson and Stevenson. And I think that's the equalizer for playing against the Texans. You have to be able to run the ball because you get in a situation where you're dropping back 30 to 35, 40 times, you're doing nothing but giving that defensive line an ability to pin their ears back and hunt after that quarterback. So you want to be able to be balanced. You want to be able to go out and establish the run. And I think, that's where they're actually vulnerable. If you can get a hat on the hat, I think they're able and susceptible to the run game. But, you're definitely going to have to get a hat on the hat because even when you look in that secondary for that Houston Texans defense, you have a bunch of willing guys that's willing to be physical and fly around and make contact with the ball. So I think that's their best option, to go out and run the ball, maybe have those running backs have anywhere between 12 to 20 carries apiece throughout that game, and I think that's what will set them up for success.
At NWash85 is where you follow him. We're talking a little bit of divisional round with Titans legend Nate Washington.
I am curious, though, from a player perspective, to take it back to the coaching carousel, Nate. Whenever there was a coaching change while you were playing, what was your process? Would you stay locked in and kind of stay with every news update? Did you have sort of preconceived notions or hopes on who would be your next head coach? Or would you kind of remove yourself from it and try to cancel all the outside noise out and just wait to see who the coach was going to be?
Well, me personally, speaking from a personal standpoint, throughout my tenure, experiencing having a new head coach obviously wasn't too familiar for me, outside of Mike T coming and Coach Cowher leaving, So when I got to Tennessee, it happening a little bit more frequent. I was understanding on my side that no matter who came in that building, I had a job to do. And that was one of the major things that I took from being in the Titans jersey. It was a lot of revolving doors, as I call them, with the front office personnel, everything from the owner to the GM to, our head coaches. We had multiple in my tenure there. So I understood that no matter what it looked like, I had a job to do. And that was to get open and catch the ball, to be a leader in my room and make sure that my room wasn't the ones that was holding us accountable to maybe why we weren't successful. And I took a lot of pride in that. So for me, I stayed off of the social media. I wasn't on social media while I was playing ball because I understood, no matter what's being said, no matter what's going on around, talking point wise, it was a job to be done. And that was my only focus. So for me personally, I was always focused on me, making sure that whatever was asked, the new guy that was coming in, that I was doing exactly what was asked of me and being accountable in that standpoint, because at the end of the day, I couldn't make the decisions on who was going to be the head coach or what that head coach was going to stand for and allow. So for me personally, it was just going out and doing my job.
Imagine having the restraint to remove yourself from social media instead of just being addicted to it like the rest of us are, at least to some extent. Nate Washington, always kind enough to grace us with his presence, buddy. Sorry we made you wait there a few minutes. That's my fault. I got on a monologue, and, I'm full of hot air. I just got to let off some steam every once in a while, Nate. Thank you for the time.
Nah, man. You're good, man. I appreciate you guys having me, as always.
That's Nate Washington. Football Was My Father. You can get it, the recently published book by Nate Washington, in the Amazon bookstore. All right, 615-737-1045 is the number. Last call for phone calls, if you got them. We'll wrap up the show coming up next. Last call for phone calls. If you got them, 615-737-1045. Robert sent this to our group text from Yahoo Sports. 20 men have been charged in a point-shaving scheme involving more than 39 college basketball players on more than 17 NCAA Division I teams, leading to more than 29 games being fixed according to a federal indictment. Yahoo goes on to say the scheme began around September of 2022 and initially focused on fixing games in the Chinese Basketball Association. Before targeting college basketball games, the group offered bribes to college players ranging from $10,000 to $30,000 to compromise games for betting purposes.
They would have got me so quick.
For 10 grand?
Oh, they would have got me. Dude, like, if I was a basketball player, I don't think I would be that good. I think that I would be like an enforcer, like a goon that you would send in to like take out the legs on the best player.
Use all of your fouls.
Yes, yeah, I would be the Serge Ibaka of white guys if I was playing college basketball. And the first time a mobster comes to me and goes, Serge Ibaka was a two-time. I couldn't find another example, Buck. I'm sorry that Serge Ibaka was not good enough.
He's a Finals MVP.
I would be okay. You ever seen me play basketball?
No.
Yeah, well,
I've never seen
loss.
you with a ball in your hand.
That's wrong. That's wrong. At Toy Field,
besides your own.
No, at Toy Field, I was spinning them on my finger. I would have. My whole point. If a mobster
it doesn't
came to
count
me,
if Slay starts to spin it and then transfers it to your finger.
I think that would be more impressive than what I did. If a mobster came to me and was like, free cannolis if you throw this game, or free cannolis if you throw 3 balls out of bounds, so quick. So quick.
He was not the Finals MVP, by the way.
Which one was?
I mean, Kawhi.
What do you mean, which one?
Ibaka. Yeah.
Wait.
Ibaka.
Who won the Finals MVP over Steph Curry for the Warriors?
Iggy. Andre Iguodala.
Yeah,
Ibaka won with the Raptors.
My bad.
When Kawhi was the Finals MVP.
I got caught up.
On Saturday.
Which one? Get out of here.
Mm-hmm. On Saturday, I am...
Can't sing your Christmas story song for people. You want to play this game? Look at the two of you. You want to play this game?
I don't have a Christmas story song.
Are you sure?
Oh, wait, never mind.
On Saturday, I'm heading to Bowling Green. I'm doing the ESPN Plus broadcast of Western Kentucky versus Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State's lead scorer is also the Conference USA lead scorer by the name of Simeon Cottle. I was prepping for this game last night and studying and watching Kennesaw State games.
Oh, no.
Simeon Cottle is one of 4 players charged that played for their current teams this week.
How about that?
And played last night in Kennesaw State's comeback win over FIU. So I don't know what that means for him.
You're going to work the end of the broadcast?
In my game, I'm sure I'll ask their SID about it, and that'll make them very uncomfortable. But that's the thing, though. A lot of the schools named in this indictment are on that level. Kennesaw State, Coppin State.
Well, yeah.
What is that?
Those are the people that you can get for 30 grand.
Yeah. Nicholls State, North Carolina A&T, Robert Morris, St. Louis, Abilene Christian.
Wasn't Robert Morris one of the teams that upset a bigger program? Didn't they get one over Kentucky? Maybe beat them in the NIT or something like that a couple years ago with Cal?
Oh, they've been to the tournament. I can't remember what conference, maybe Patriot League. But, the highest level school that's been named here is Tulane. I mean, Buffalo, Eastern Michigan.
But think about it. You don't want to target.
No.
You don't want to target the big programs. You don't want the high-profile players. You want the people that you can get for 10 grand to 30 grand to compromise games for betting, because how many people are paying attention to Coppin State basketball games?
Was Tulane in that list?
Yep.
Because one of the guys that writes for East Carolina was talking about how he couldn't even throw the game properly. ECU still lost to Tulane, despite them shaving points off. They're so bad. So bad.
That's tough.
Oh, man. So I don't know.
That's a fun little nugget for you to work into the broadcast tomorrow.
He's literally the preseason player of the year in Conference USA. Kennesaw State's got a good team. They've got some guys that can score the ball, and he is one of them. And he is one of the indicted players, Kennesaw State guard Simeon Cottle.
He's got a great path to the draft now. He's like, imagine what my stats would have looked like if I wasn't throwing the ball away, if I wasn't on
If I wasn't
purpose.
point shaving.
He scored 21 points last night. I watched they played last night, and he's been indicted today.
That was 50% of my effort.
He was Conference USA Player of the Week last week.
39 college basketball players involved in this indictment, 17 NCAA Division I teams. So, I don't know. I mean, is the NCAA tournament still going to be brought to us by Sportsbook X? You know, like this stuff is, I don't know how we don't get into more trouble with these things. And listen, I do, actually, do I do Sportsbook ads anymore? Do I have a Sportsbook ad?
No, I've been doing it for you and pocketing all the money.
Oh, that's fine.
No, they peeled back. Like they came on really strong when it was legalized, like right when we started the show.
I don't even have one on primetime anymore?
Nope.
Huh.
All your picks were too good. They were not losing enough, or they were not making enough money.
We know that's not true. But they came on really strong with the radio ads and then peeled back.
Well, I mean, I wonder how many promo codes can you give out? Like how many different, there's only so many people, and they've already infiltrated college campuses where you should have to be 21 to sign up for gambling, except that the college kids are working their way around it.
A sucker is born every day. Every day someone thinks they can hit a parlay. Why is this plus 6,000? This is a guarantee.
It's a lock.
Ride with
lock
me.
of the week.
Hey, well, now have you seen the thing now? It's like not only do they want you to bet, they want you to pass your terrible bets onto your friends with pass the leg. Hey, you make a start a parlay and then send it to your buddy.
Oh,
and
yeah, no, I have a gambling group text that tries to do that all the time.
It's like I would not. All of my friends are also awful bettors. Why would I want them to have any say-so over me losing money? I don't want to be mad at them.
Yeah, I'm sure you two have a friend like this too. Our buddy Aaron only posts his winning tickets. Like there is nothing about the just thousands upon thousands of dollars he's probably lost because Tony Pollard came like 1 yard short of his, game over-under against the Jacksonville Jags or something like that.
I got one better than that. My brother is addicted to fish tables. Do y'all have fish tables here?
Don't know what that is.
It's
Never
like
heard of
a
that.
sweepstakes. Like you go in there and you put money in, kind of like a slot machine, but they're at like smoke shops, and they're illegal in North Carolina. And usually the dens for these fish tables are only open. But he'll be like, I won $2,000 at the fish tables. I'm like, how much money did you put in? How much? Where's the $2,000 that you won? It's just the picture of him holding the ticket. Like I put that money back in to try to make more. It's like there's a reason that those people that own fish table businesses are doing so.
Could we
well.
get fish tables to endorse the show?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, we almost get that strip club the one time if the corporate overlords didn't put the kibosh on that.
the polls would have been so much better.
I'm telling you.
I love
Deja Vu literally called Lucas within 30 seconds of me saying that into a microphone.
That was early days. I love you pretending like you don't know whether or not you have a gambling. Robert, do I have or one of my 3 endorsements? Is one of them a gambling one?
Pull out that CVS receipt that is my live endorsement.
How many different times have we changed the primetime backdrop just for sports books? I feel like I've had BetOnline AG, DraftKings, BetMGM. I feel like I've had like 4 or 5 of them.
Stop saying their name unless they want to give us money.
Sure, I'll take your money. And apparently so will these 39 college basketball players and more than 17 NCAA Division I programs. If I had done the polls today, Lucas.
2 Rivers Ford.
Who would the polls have been presented by?
Oh, come on.
I forgot. This is what happens when you actually make me do the polls. I forget. So that's going to do it for us today.
I'm not playing the music.
Why?
If you don't do the polls, I'm not playing the music. That's the new rule.
Okay, well, if you don't play the music, then I'm not going to talk.
Why didn't you put the polls up?
I was...
Put the polls up.
Do it now.
Dude, I'm going to miss Mike Tomlin. I'm going to miss his quotes.
He's going to be on television.
TV.
I know.
What do you mean
but
you're going to miss him? He's going to be on your TV every Sunday.
I understand, and that will be great. He'll be excellent at it, but I'm going to miss him saying cool things after football games that his team is involved in.
Well, he'll just say cool things about other people's football teams now.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, didn't you just cite this as the reason why he was going to be excellent on television because he's one of the most quotable coaches ever?
And he will be excellent on television. But
I think Netflix should throw all the money at him, the way that they're throwing money at Taylor McGregor and L. Duncan right now. Like, actually hire your own NFL broadcast team and have Mike Tomlin be one of the people on your desk.
the fade in, too. Cover 2 next.
Am I supposed to do that this way?
This is what you get if you don't do the poll.
I'm up for this.
No.
I'm down for this.
No.
The acapella outro.
How long can you do this for? That's really what this is a test of. All right, I guess that's going to do it for us today. I hate this so much. Blaine and Zach, they're coming up next. Robert and I on prime time tonight. Have a great rest of your afternoon.